The day I get recognized, it's special anyway, but that's the icing on the cake.
Hall Fight On, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and the SEC Network.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I don't think no matter where they are, unless you're in first place at the top of the Western Conference, first place of your division, you got to move on from Anthony Davis. You got to move on from Klay Thompson. You got to move on from D'Angelo Russell. Those are your three most valuable pieces.
And they're older players as well, too.
Older players as well. You get a chance to build around a youthful guy, Cooper Flag, that has all the makings of being that next superstar.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up on Monday's show, we'll break down all the biggest storylines coming out of NFL Week 11 and preview the Cowboys and Raiders on Monday Night Football and much more. That's Monday on the Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
Amber and Ian.
I was not right about the movement in the top of these rankings. Relax. I said I wasn't right about. Let me clarify. The committee was wrong about the top five of the college football playoff rankings.
Oh, the committee was wrong.
Yeah, the committee was wrong.
You said the committee would do. So you were incorrect.
I can't fix the committee.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Reese Davis. Let's be honest. You can't keep an eye on everything unless you've got Blink Outdoor 4 cameras. While you're focused on the game, Blink's keeping an eye on your home.
With up to 2-year battery life and the Sync Module XR, you can cover more space without constant maintenance. No wires, no worries. Blink helps keep an eye on what matters most. Get Blink today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle. Unlock all of ESPN and all of Fox One with one unbeatable price. Catch the biggest games, college football, NBA, NHL, and more on ESPN. Stream your faves, Big Noon Saturday, the World Series, and NASCAR on Fox One. All for just $39.99 a month. That's 20% off. The ESPN Fox One bundle. Offer valid for eligible subscribers only. Access content from each service separately. Savings compared to purchasing both plans separately. See stream.espn.com for complete terms and conditions.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-471-9773. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-471-9773. 800-471-9773. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-471-9773 or biglou.com. That's 800-471-9773 or biglou.com.
Wichita's news sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton. This is the Shane Dennis Show on the new ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. Maybe not so happy if you're a Chiefs fan, but we will unpack all the stuff from over the weekend, or as much as 2 hours will allow. Shane and Jack with you here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. It's episode 1099 here on November the 17th. We'll get to all the goings on in the world of sports and in what order we'll talk about them all. Coming up here in just a second. But first, we need to give you a couple numbers so you can be involved in the show. We have, if you're new to the station or new to the show, we have 2 different ways for you to be a part of it or contribute. And we have so many things that you can win, or we will give you, or some combination thereof. And you're going to need these 2 numbers to take advantage of our generosity. And we love you for it. We give away lottery tickets. We give away Top Golf stuff. We qualify you for cool neon signs for your cave or your garage. We give away all kinds of stuff. So you will need these numbers. And even if you don't win anything, you can just let us know what you think. That's what Sports Talk Radio is all about. So here's how you can weigh in on anything you saw over the weekend or anything that we might see this week, which we'll talk about today. First, let's get to the hotline, shall we? If you want to call, then give us a call at 316-669-4996. That's the hotline. I will be giving away lottery tickets later on. So when I prompt you to call, that's the number you need to call. That not now, but a little later on. 316-669-4996. If you want to text us a question or a comment, or you got a joke or whatever, just use that text line. Let us know you're out there. 316-247-0923. That's text line. You guys and gals, if you're unfamiliar, we have throughout the course of the latter part of the week during football season, opportunity for you to be qualified to win a Kansas City Chiefs Bud Light sign, a Busch Light sign, or some spices and rubs from Real Life Kitchen. You're going to need that number for those whenever I let you know about that Wednesday through Friday on my shows or on my show. So keep that in mind. And again, for those of you that are familiar with the show, you know you can text that whenever you want to. We gave away the movie tickets on the text line too, concert tickets every now and then. Text line is very versatile. I think you realize that by now. But if you don't, punch it in your phone. That's the ESPN Wichita text line. It's an exclusive text line, 2470923. You want to stream the show? You can do it on your computer, espnwichita.com. If you got a device, laptop, computer, whatever, go to that website and click Listen Live. You can stream us from your desk. You can download our ESPN Wichita app and listen to us nonstop and take us with you wherever you go. On your phone, regardless of what kind of phone it is, download that ESPN Wichita app. It's got the text line number on there if you forget it. It's got a schedule of the shows, New Day with SSJ, my show, The Pulse with Pat Strathman. He comes your way from 2 to 4, and Seren Petro with the program from 4 to 6. Wall to wall, live sports talk here on your sports leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Highly recommend the ESPN Wichita app. Listen live or go back and listen to archive shows in case you missed something. We also live stream on Twitter or X. We live stream on Facebook and our YouTube channel. So check us out there. As promised, I got this place looking a little more Christmassy as we get a little closer to that. For those of you live streaming the show, take a look at our Bud Light refrigerator. Got a little something up there to remind you that Christmas is right around the corner. But that's a guilty pleasure of mine. So check us out there. Follow us on all those social platforms. We are at our Equity Bank Park studio. It's November 17th, 321st day of the year, 44 days left in 2025. Headed for a high today of 73 degrees under breezy conditions here in Wichita. Still unseasonably warm for November 17. All right. You know what we're going to lead with, but I'll make it official here in a second. But not before Jack tells us a joke. Here's our moment of levity for a Monday. Jack.
What do you call a nervous javelin thrower?
I don't know.
Shakespeare.
Oh, man. Thought maybe I'd had a fighting chance to get that one, but no. Today, National Homemade Bread Day. Jack, what's your specialty? If you have to cook for you and the missus, what's your go-to? What are you good at?
I would probably say grilled chicken or steak on the grill.
Something on the grill. Okay.
More of a griller than a cook, yeah.
Okay, that counts. Homemade bread day is today. National Butter Day. That makes sense. National Baklava Day. And National Take a Hike Day. 3 days to tell you about tomorrow. Some notable born days on this day. Rock Hudson iconic actor, born 1925. Martin Scorsese, 83, director, producer, screenwriter, legend. Lauren Hutton, model, actress. Danny DeVito. And RuPaul, drag queen performer, television personality. RuPaul, 65. And notable events. Denver is founded 1858. First draft of the Gettysburg Address, today in 1863. And in 2013, do you all remember this? There was a tornado outbreak in the Midwest on this day 12 years ago, 76 of them in an approximate 11-hour time period, including 7 EF3s and 2 EF4 tornadoes across the Midwest, causing $1.5 billion in damages. That was on this day in 2013. 76 tornadoes affected 7 states in the Midwest, the biggest one right outside of Peoria, Illinois. All right, there you go. There's your day. Here's what we're going to talk about today. Chiefs losing their stranglehold on the AFC West. They lose yesterday on a walk-off field goal by Will Lutz, a guy whose field goal they blocked in a similar situation last year at Arrowhead. No such luck. We will have thoughts on that in the first couple of segments. Second segment, speaking of, 3 big things. And when you lose by 3, you can probably come up with more than 3. But Jack and I will have 3 big things that affected that outcome between the Chiefs and the Broncos as Denver wins that one in Mile High. Some takeaways by us over the first couple of segments. And we certainly will welcome your comments if you have them, if you're a Chiefs fan or even if you're a Broncos fan, I suppose. You probably have opinions on that. So let us know what you think on the text line. But we'll talk quite a bit of Chiefs here in hour number 1. We will focus on soda, the Ribbit Computers Twitter question, sparked by my mom, of all people. I'll explain later on. 1 o'clock, we'll talk about K-State's win over Oklahoma State. It was ugly, although some people didn't think so. We'll discuss at 1 o'clock. And then at 1:25, we will have our Prochaska Howland Prochaska Law Player of the Week. That comes your way in hour number 2. And we'll also sneak in during that segment, if you don't mind PHP Law, the week ahead for the state schools in basketball. It's a pretty big week for all 3 schools. So we'll highlight what's coming up for KU, K-State, and Wichita State as they have tests probably unrivaled up to this point. Definitely KU and Wichita State, but it could be argued K-State has a similarly tough test. So we'll talk about that at 1:25. Then I'm old Jack Young at the end of the show. We'll have Pat Strathman. He'll slide in here. We'll have some crosstalk before the end of my show, leading into the beginning of his, and he will bring you the pulse coming up from 2 to 4 this afternoon. So that's what we got to talk about today. We lead with the Chiefs in a precarious situation unlike any other in the Patrick Mahomes era, which finds them on the brink of below 500 in mid-November, which, as I mentioned, hasn't happened since Patrick Mahomes took over at quarterback. But here they are, 5-5, following a division loss to the Denver Broncos. We're now 9-2, 22-19, the final. They are now down to 9th place in the AFC, losing the tiebreakers with the Broncos, the Bills, the Chargers, and the Jaguars. 11 weeks into the season, the Chiefs have yet to beat a playoff team or win a game decided by 1 score. Now, there's a certain amount of luck involved in the 1-score game success theory, one in which the Chiefs were perfect at last year. But I think we even number one, we realized it at the time last year, and we even talked about it. I'm quite sure that there's a certain element of luck that goes into winning a tremendous amount of one-score games in a row, which is what the Chiefs did. Now, having Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback and Steve Spagnuolo as your defensive coordinator, those are two pretty big things as far as winning one-score games. But now the Chiefs can't buy one when they're in a one-score game. And the Sunday started off, I thought, in pumping a little air in the sail of the Chiefs fashion when the Chargers no-showed against Jacksonville and got beat 35-6. And I'm sure Chiefs fans, if you're kind of thinking forward and thinking along with me, boy, this is a big spot if they beat Denver. The Chargers lose a game that, I don't know, they should have. I don't know, I wouldn't go that far, but they got blown out. So if the Chiefs win, they're 6-4. They beat the Broncos, of course. That would mean they're 8-3 with still a return trip to Kansas City and on and on and on. Instead, they're now a game behind the Jags for the AFC's final playoff spot. And they need to finish with a better record than them if it comes down to it. And with 7 weeks left to go, they're 3.5 games out of first place in the AFC West. And a 10th consecutive division title is in a lot of peril. So many opportunities that went by the boards in that Chiefs-Broncos game on Sunday. It's hard to know where to begin. But I will start with it wasn't even an inability. It was a lack of commitment to the run game. I don't mind bringing that back up again. I know I've banged this drum a multitude of times. And I also understand the inclination to let Patrick Mahomes do not everything, but a lot. And I heard it talked about really throughout from the final gun up until now, and many different platforms, including I was eavesdropping on the Zone at 8:10 in Kansas City, asking Patrick Mahomes to do so much. Some would say too much. And the reluctance to let anybody else help him, especially when it comes to the run game. Now, I would have never guessed that Kareem Hunt would average nearly 5 yards a carry in double-figure carries. You give him 13 carries, I would have never guessed he got to 59 yards. One of those yards was a 1-yard touchdown. So I know you can't take away carries and cherry-pick stats, but if not for his touchdown run, Kareem Hunt had 12 carries for 58 yards. That's good by any stretch at any level, high school all the way up. But he only got the 13 carries, and Patrick Mahomes dropped back to pass 46 times. Going into the game, if I would have told you that, you probably would have countered with, he's going to get sacked 6 or 7 times because the Broncos specialize in that. And he did get sacked 3 times. But really one of the plays of the game was him throwing an interception. And considering he dropped back 45 times, was only able to find the end zone once. Penalties were a big thing, especially in the first half for the Chiefs, including, I think it was 2 holds. It was at least 1, but 2 holds on Juju Smith-Schuster when they were deep in Denver territory. And you put all those into a hat and you come away with a Broncos win that was fueled in part by the lack of Kansas City's defense blitzing Bo Nix when he drops back to pass. In essence, letting him survey the Chiefs defense, and for the most part, I don't want to say picking them apart, but he made very few mistakes as far as I could tell. And in spite of the fact that they were one-dimensional not by choice like the Chiefs, but by necessity, Bo Nix still threw for nearly 300 yards. And that was disheartening because, and I'm copycatting Jason Anderson from 810 Kansas City, assuming he's correct. The Chiefs blitzed Bo Nix on dropbacks only 24% of the time. I have no idea why it was so few. Hell, they blitzed the first play of the game and sacked him. So that's part of the 24% that they blitzed Nix on dropbacks. And he was left to survey the entire defense. And I'm not going to necessarily throw the defense under the bus because I thought they played quite well. Thought it was Spags who's going to have to explain the reasoning behind he did what he did. But a 3rd and I believe 15 at the end of the game, you can't let anybody convert 3rd and 15, let alone Bo Nix. And a situation where they dropped, I think, 8 into coverage. Plenty of blame to go around, no question about it. And we thought offensively and defensively, when everybody got as healthy as they could possibly get, and nobody's ever going to be completely healthy, but we, I think, imagined that once Rashee Rice comes back, once Xavier Worthy gets healthy, you have all, and this is not even counting Isaiah Pacheco getting hurt, but you can't discount that either. But considering they won't turn and hand it to anybody 15 or more times, I don't know that it would have mattered much if Pacheco would have been in there. Let's be honest. It would have been him running 10 times and maybe Hunt 4 instead of Hunt 13. But I think we all thought once this group gets healthy with a newfound commitment to throwing the ball down the field, which Mahomes did a lot. He went early down the field and actually missed a receiver at least twice that had a step on a Bronco defender. But we would have thought all their problems would be solved, or at least they would be stout enough offensively to be able to outscore teams when in the off chance that an opponent would get to 24 points or 27 points. Well, no biggie, because Chiefs would have a Travis Kelce that they try to get a little load management for. They've got Thornton, who's a legit deep threat. You got the combo of Rice and Worthy, who are in different ways very dangerous. You got Hollywood Brown. You got this multitude of weapons. You got Patrick Mahomes. You have Josh Simmons back. You have the offensive line about as intact as you can, considering we're this deep into the season. And yet here we are. They were only able to score 2 touchdowns. They were only able to pile up 311 total yards. Were outgained by the Broncos. And frankly, I thought outcoached by the Bronco coaching staff. And it pains me to say that because I, for no reason at all, just don't like Sean Payton. I think that he thinks he's the smartest guy in the league, but that's a story for another day. And now the Chiefs are certainly on the outside looking in when it comes to the division. And they're literally on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoff picture. Now, before you go completely doom and gloom about, oh, it's over and let's break this thing up or whatever, they're still a big-time favorite to win the Super Bowl. So it's a case of don't let these guys in the playoffs because they might run the table and win the whole thing. Well, yeah, maybe. But there are plenty of warts on this Chiefs team. And in some ways, it's hard to pinpoint. You had an extra point blocked. You had penalty issues. They had 10 for 69, and it seemed like all 10 of them were in the first half. It wasn't quite that way. I think 7 of them, though. You have an inability to get off the field on 3rd and long, and overall on 3rd down yesterday. 7 of 15 Denver was on 3rd downs. And for some reason, a reluctance to blitz Bo Nix, which is probably one of the more blitzable guys. You don't fear Bo Nix when you blitz him and go basically cover 0 across the line, put McDuffie on Denver's best receiver, Cortland Sutton, and then let the chips fall where they may. But so many head scratching moves or non-moves. You had a 3rd and 1 where the Chiefs threw it, not successfully either, by the way. You had a 3rd and 1 inside the red zone that lost 2 yards, and then the Chiefs elected to kick a field goal. Plenty of head scratchers and plenty of questions that I doubt will get answered, especially if you ask Andy Reid, because as we hear every week, he really does a good job of not saying much and being general in his criticisms and being general in the responses when asked what was the problem with this and what are you going to do about it. And a lot of, we'll get that cleaned up. We need to work on that. Well, Jack, as you said earlier today on 810, when you're this deep in the season, this is what you are. They're 5-5, and it's really head scratching to understand that this is a 500 team. How, Jack, are they a 500 team? If you could put it succinctly.
Well, they make too many mistakes. They're not as deep at certain positions out there. And, I think it's always been that way in the NFL. It's why even with long dynastic runs, eventually there's a year or two or multiple where you take a few steps back. And I feel that we were all naive, and because the Chiefs have made it look so easy the last 5 to 6 seasons. I mean, they've been to the Super Bowl 5 of the last 6 years. And the one year they didn't make it, they lost in overtime of the AFC Championship game at home. So they have pretty much been on the doorstep every single year since Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. As we brought it up, the worst loss he's ever had was, and I'm not trying to say by margin of defeat who they were playing, but a loss that effectively ends your season was overtime in the AFC Championship game at home. So when you set that level of expectation, you're not used to this. I mean, a game like this on the schedule, I would say the Chiefs in the past couple of years have won that game not just 9 out of 10 times, pretty much 10 out of 10 times. Like, all of the pressure in the world was on the Denver Broncos yesterday. Adam Schefter tweets out that Broncos officials are saying this is the biggest game they've had since 2016 in Denver when it was Brady versus Manning to go to the Super Bowl. Like, you went out there and publicly said, this is our Super Bowl. Uh-huh. And so the Chiefs get to waltz in and say, yeah, we know what we are your Super Bowl, and we've been able to beat up on you, and you've been puffing your chest out, and you're 8-2, but you haven't beaten anybody. Man, do the Chiefs look so complacent with being so damn average this year. I mean, you hear it in the postgame every single time. Andy Reid, well, we gotta clean things up. Well, we gotta be better. Why? You're coming off a damn bye week. That's not cleaned up during the bye week?
Yeah.
I mean, how embarrassing is that? That out of the bye week, you have a game where you commit 10 penalties. Your right tackle still doesn't know where to line up, right? Special teams. I mean, Dave Tobe, you talk about getting away with murder every single week. How his group continues to make back-breaking mistakes over and over and over again, and not any criticism comes his way, baffling to me. And then you just hear the players talk. I mean, I don't get any sense of urgency, Shane, from this team. They lost yesterday, and it was, well, yeah, we gotta.
How about somebody takes a podium and gets pissed, like starts yelling?
Yeah, And see, this is the difference too. We talk about baseball all the time, Shane. We talk about football and basketball. That's what we do on this station. But when you look at baseball, right? I know we've had people in the past go, I'm so mad that Matt Quatrero or somebody on the Royals team doesn't sound off and say this is unacceptable, right?
Yeah.
Have a Hal McRae type rant.
Right.
Well, baseball's different. When you play every single day, 162 times a year, you can't get too high and too low. In football, when you have had this championship level standard and you went into this game understanding that you had to beat Denver to have a shot at winning the division, and you leave that game and go, oh, shucks, what are you going to do? We just got to be better. We got to clean some things up. Oh, that's my fault. I didn't do. Why did you not do what you were supposed to do? Why did you make that mistake? It's not to say you have to be perfect all the time, but this level of complacency is absurd to me. I mean, and I know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they can fall back on we've always turned it around. We've always played football played our best football when it matters most. And maybe they do, Shane. Maybe they turn it on and they win their final 6 games of the season, or whatever the hell it would be, 7 games of the season. But to me, the goal can't be, we just got to get there, right? We got to get to the postseason. That's not the championship level standard that we've seen. In the past, it's been, we want to win our division. We want to be the 1 seed. We want to be the top dog. We want the Super Bowl to run through Arrowhead Stadium in the same way it's done the last handful of years. And I still have confidence they're going to make the postseason because I don't have faith in Jacksonville hanging on, or one of those bottom feeders in the AFC that's overachieving to be so dominant all season long. And I still believe it's the weakest AFC field that Patrick Mahomes has ever seen. But that includes you, too. Mm-hmm. You are not some sleeping giant right now that's, just wait. I mean, I'm not sure that the Patriots or Broncos, maybe the Broncos would, because Sean Payton has been very good since taking over Denver and playing Kansas City. But I don't think anybody wants to draw Kansas City as the 7 because of their past history. In the same way, nobody wanted to draw New England when they were a 7 seed, or I guess back then it would have been a 5 or a 6 seed, right? Whenever they were in the wild card, which pretty much was never, right, until the very end of Tom Brady's career. Nobody wants to, but I also don't get the sense that anybody fears them. Like the Colts coming into town this coming Sunday, if you're Indianapolis, I know that you're not favored, and that was expected, right? Kansas City, despite being 5-5, they're going to be favored in a lot of the games. But if you're the Colts, why the hell would you fear the Chiefs? There is no, energy, spilling off of them or exuding from them of, oh, man, we got to go into Arrowhead and play this Chiefs team. They're not the same team, and it's fine to admit that. It's not to say they're a bad football team. But the way it used to be of, I thought Jason, who you already alluded to earlier in 8-10, said, no, look at the Broncos on 4th and 5 kicking a field goal from 50-plus yards with 4 minutes left, where in the past, Shane, it was no chance in hell we're giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes in a tie game with less than 5 minutes to go. We'd be stupid to do that. But the fact that Sean Payton said, our defense is going to lock them down. We're getting the ball back, by the way, and we're going to be able to go down and get in field goal range. And what did the Chiefs do on that drive? Incomplete, sack. That was what they had in their bag, Shane. Yep. That's what they had ready to roll. The drive before that. A couple of drives before that,
we had a false start that backed him up and made it 1st and 15. Am I correct about that? Was that the previous drive, or maybe 2 drives before that?
False start. I think it might have been a hold. It might have been a hold there. It set up 3rd and 2, and Andy Reid's brilliant genius play call was, let's throw a wheel route to our 3rd-string running back running down the field. Don't get too cute. You get too cute. If you're not going to QB sneak it, you're not going to run it with a guy who's averaging 5 yards a carry. And I got nothing for you. That's just not being well coached or well prepared. And I'm just sick and tired of hearing about we got to clean it up. Well, yeah, you do have to clean it up. Why has it not been cleaned up yet? There's no more excuses of you don't have the right guys out there. Oh, you're banged up and somebody's suspended. No, you had your healthiest group out there minus Isaiah Pacheco. But if we're talking about Isaiah Pacheco being a massive, hole in that offense of, oh, no, we can't live without him, just stop it. Stop kidding yourself there. That Kareem Hunt's been just as good of a running back this year. They had their full offensive line. They were healthy. They were ready to go. A chance to take a shot at Denver, and tip my cap to Denver. Those guys came to play. Those guys had 147 penalty yards and still found a way to win and had those big drives when it mattered most. I got nothing but respect for them on that side. They won, and I'm not here for it today to say, the Chiefs shot themselves. The Chiefs beat the Chiefs. No, they didn't.
No.
Denver made them play poorly, and Denver beat them, and that's why they're in first place, and that's why you're not going to be winning the AFC West this year.
All right, we need to get to 3 big things. If we can narrow it down to 3, the big things to take away from the Broncos beating the Chiefs 22-19. Text us what you think they were, or if you got thoughts, keep them coming. We've had some texts on the text line, 316-247-0923. Let us know what you think. Jack and I will have 3 big things when we come back.
You're listening to The Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Hey, it's Jeff with CBD American Shaman Botanicals. We'd like to invite you to discover why we are the two premier cannabis shops in the Wichita area. We are honored to bring relief, relaxation, and recreation to the community. Stop in 7 days a week for free samples and the shaman experience at 21st and Rock in Wichita or Baltimore and Market in Derby. Or shop online at yourcbd.pro. Stop by or log on today and see why we say life is better with the feather.
Listen up, soccer fans. Visit Wichita is excited to bring the NJCAA Division II Men's and Women's Soccer National Championships to Wichita this November. Witness the best junior college teams from around the country compete November 16th through the 22nd at Shields Striker Sports Complex. You'll see high-quality, fast-paced soccer that is fun for the whole family. For tickets, go to visitwichita.com/get-tickets. That's visitwichita.com/get-tickets.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
Monday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Week 11 concludes with a Monday night matchup as the Raiders host the Dallas Cowboys. This is Jerry Recco. Join Steve Berline and me for all the action as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys look to regain their winning form, but Max Crosby and the Raiders are hungry for a victory. It's the Dallas Cowboys and Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Wichita's home for the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
I can see her lying back in her satin
The great Gordon Lightfoot, born day at sundown from way back in the day. 12:34 here on a Monday. We're reacting to the Chiefs' 22-19 loss to the Broncos, Chiefs falling to 5-5. In the AFC West, they're now third in the pecking order, had a chance to make a move on the Chargers, which I wrote down initially as one of my big things before the game even started. But that, of course, went by the wayside when the Chiefs actually lost. So our three big things, which may or may not add up to three, who knows? I'll go first. And I think, and we talked about people with some explaining to do, Andy not running the ball more when he told Tracy Wolfson at halftime they need to get the running game going more, but whatever. Maybe that's honorable mention. But the special teams, Dave Tobe, and Jack brought it up a second ago, or at least broached the subject. You had an extra point blocked. You had, and I won't necessarily put this on, what's the white guy's name? Cochran, Jack, special teams dude? Jack Cochran. Jack, okay. Not only did he commit a penalty, did you see, do you recall that Broncos punt that, frankly, he should have blocked? Did you catch that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, God, he's right there. And I won't necessarily throw him under the bus for not blocking a punt, but he was right there. He beat his dude. and he did everything but block it. But anyway, the penalties on special teams, Matt Ariza, I think, kind of gets a pass because he had a good day. But penalties on special teams, the Marvin Mims return on special teams, on top of which the Chiefs committed a penalty. I didn't know it was possible that the punting team could block somebody in the back, not the receiving team, the punting team. But that was the Chiefs, and they did. And on top of that, Mims return, I think it was at least half the distance or maybe 10 more yards, depending on whenever Mims got to. Thank God the defense, and I think it was Leo Chenal or Karloftis, somebody knocked down a pass on 3rd and 4 at 5 to force field goal. And then, of course, the blocked extra point after the Chiefs scored a touchdown that kept it at 19-19, but at any rate, the Chiefs had 1 point off the board when, it should have been 7 instead of 6. It was after the Kelsey touchdown that made it 19-16. That would have made it 20-16. That would have forced at some point Denver to score a touchdown. And instead of settling for, as Jack mentioned, a Will Lutz 54-yard field goal with 4:15 left to go in the game, with not much fear, not much trepidation, that now we can play for a tie here with 4:15 left, when in years past, aka last year, for example, you'd never just settle for a tie and give Patrick Mahomes the next 4:15. But special teams is one of my 3 big things, without question. And be interested, but not really, to hear what Dave Tobe has to say later on this week. Jack, give me one big thing from you from the game yesterday.
Well, if there was ever something called a cuteness pageant for play calling on 3rd and short or 4th and short, I think the Chiefs would have a longer title streak than they did in the AFC West, because as long as I can remember, the cuteness overload for some of the play calling they have of let's have the quarterback do a jump and a spin, let's do all of these, ring around the rosy type stuff to catch somebody sleeping. It has burned them so tremendously in so many spots. And look, if you're not going to make a trade for Breece Hall, which you want to hold on to that 3rd round pick or whatever the heck it was, then I'd like to see, more of a commitment to keeping it simple, right? Keep it simple, stupid. There's no need to catch a defense off guard in a spot like that. And who knows, maybe Kareem Hunt gets stuffed on 3rd and 1. Right, because you sure as hell won't QB sneak it, never have, never will, in the 7 years since Patrick Mahomes got hurt, or the 6 years, whatever it was. But to throw some of those, or to call some of those plays, let alone throw the ball there, I cannot believe that in 2 pivotal 3rd and 1s, the Chiefs' play call was pretty much a 4 verts route. They sent all 4 receivers down the field, 25 yards, needing 1, and it didn't amount to anything. And then with the game on the line, Shane, the cute play call, getting cutesy as they call it, was a wheel route to Brashard Smith on 3rd and 2. Are you kidding me? When you have Rashee Rice in the slot, when you have Travis Kelce, Worthy, all of these guys that also, by the way, earlier there was a 3rd and 5, I believe it was, or 3rd and 3 maybe, and Worthy ran this little in and out route. Basically, it was like he was coming over the middle and then just planted his foot and went toward the sideline. He was open by 10 yards. Yep. I mean, nobody was within striking distance of him. Easy pitch and catch. Got, I believe, 10 to 12 yards after that. But all this ridiculousness, and I think it's almost a way to flex your ability as a play caller. Like, oh, yeah, I'm catching you napping on 3rd and 1, and we're going to use our 3rd string running back or our 4th string tight end to make a play here. It's ridiculous. And that's what frustrates me so much about, well, not having a running back. Oh, we're confident in the guys that we have in the room, but yet you don't use them in spots where they're usually successful like that. That's a major reason they lost yesterday. Getting too cute when you don't need to be cute. Just pick up the damn yard and keep the drive moving.
Penalties is another big thing. It's really weird that they can, the Chiefs I'm talking about, can play a game where they don't have any penalties. Now, that's the outlier. You're hardly ever going to have a game where you don't have any penalties like they did against the Lions. But 7, I believe, in the first half, drive killers, drive stoppers, drives that turn into field goals instead of touchdowns. And you're playing a team that is really good defensively on third downs. Talking about the Broncos, I think they're the best in the AFC. Chiefs were 5 out of 13. Third down efficiency, due in large part to 10 penalties for 69 penalty yards, but 7 of them in the first half. In the first half, backing them up once they got semi-deep into Denver territory. And the second half, the one that Jack and I were talking about just a second ago, where deep in their own end, instead of 1st and 10, 1st and 15, they end up, I think, stalling out on 4th and 2. And I know if you take away the 5 yards and put it back where they originally were, the 3rd and 2 becomes a first down, and you at least have some breathing room. But the penalties where, and I'll say, and I don't want to blame the refs unnecessarily on some of these, but I thought there were a couple, and there probably always are, but there was at least one of the Juju 2 holds that I didn't think was a hold or not egregious enough to call. And there was a hold on one of the Chiefs offensive linemen. I thought a lot of times you let that go too, but they didn't necessarily. Now you can't complain too much because the Broncos had 10 penalties too for twice as many yards, which at the end of the game, I looked up and I'm like, good night. No way the Broncos survive 147 yards in penalties, and the Chiefs, with only 69 by comparison, still can't win a game. But untimely penalties and the inability to, against a team that didn't have Pat Surtain the second and had, I thought, frankly, some pretty questionable secondary players, were able to bottle up the Chiefs receivers besides Travis Kelce, who got going in the second half, who had 7 of his 9 catches in that second half. But one of my other big things, penalties, untimely. They hardly ever are timely, but certainly between the special teams, drive killers, and the penalties early in drives, killed them. I got an honorable mention here to wrap up with. Jack, I'll give you one more big thing, the takeaway from yesterday that killed the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm just amazed that after that first play of the game where you dial up the blitz, Jamari Conner gets home to Bo Nix. Really didn't see any more blitzes the rest of the game. You get to that 3rd and 15, you rush 3 with the spy because, Bo Nix was running around like prime Mike Vick and Lamar Jackson all day long, so you might as well have that spy on 3rd and 15 with your most athletic linebacker. It makes the most sense in the world. I mean, I just thought it was brilliant in that spot. And, to rush 3 and all of them got stonewalled, and you allowed Bo Nix to not sit down because I guess he would be down unless somebody were to touch him, but basically to sit back there, have a snack, read a book, watch a show, and then just step into a throw. And a wide open Cortland Sutton was there because Jalen Watson and Brian Cook really had no idea he was still running his route and just assumed that somebody had gotten home at that point because I guess they had confidence in that pass rush and rushing 3.
And that 3-man front was going to get home? Yeah, right.
And 3-man front. And it was almost laughable how quickly they all got stonewalled. Like they all went inside. Nobody tried to go outside. They all went inside. The Broncos offensive line pinched in, and they just got stonewalled and all stood up. You know how many times it's happened this season too, where a Chiefs defensive lineman has gotten stonewalled and they just give up on the play.
Let me ask you something. What's Chris Jones' role on a non-pass? It seems to me, you talk about getting stoned. He looks like he just stands up. Like if it's not a pass, then I'm out. If I'm not making my way.
I don't know what it's been this year.
It sure looks. I would love to hear who's their defensive line coach. Somebody explain to me.
Joe Colin.
Okay, thank you. Somebody explain to me what 95 is supposed to do when it's not a passing down. Because can you not? As big as you are, hell, he's an eclipse, blocks out the sun. Can't you even be kind of effective against the run? Doesn't seem like he is.
So he's got the wingspan. He's 6'7". He's 330 pounds, 340 pounds, and it's muscly too. He's not an overweight, fat 340. I mean, he is built. He is one of the largest human beings I've ever seen in person. And this season, I'm sure it's a combination of frustration and getting double teamed. But in the past, when he would get double teamed, he could either beat it or somebody would win their one-on-one.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure anybody with consistency is winning their one-on-one. I really don't care for George Karlaftis does have one of the higher pressure rates in all the NFL. Pressure rates are good, don't get me wrong, But it's kind of that same comparison of hitting the ball hard in baseball, right?
Yep.
You want to keep doing it, right? Nobody's going to say, hey, don't pressure as much. But we care about the hits, right? We care about actually getting home, disrupting a play, getting the sack. And right now, I mean, I don't know if you saw this on that 2nd and 8 where it went to Franklin to ice the game basically on Jalen Watson.
Yes.
You see who Charles O'Menihue got stonewalled by?
Some scrub tight end,
Adam
wasn't
Troutman.
it? Yeah.
Adam Troutman not only blocked him, then just held him in place and stood up. And O'Menihue kind of gave up on the play as well. I've seen that too much from this Chiefs defensive line. And as Steve Spagnuolo, as brilliant as he is, I don't know. I feel like you got to know that of 3rd and 15. Yeah, you do want to drop a lot of people in coverage, but it's pretty easy for somebody to get open if they have all day to throw. Somebody is going to, play a little backyard football and sit down somewhere in a soft spot of a zone. But I didn't get the spy with Chenal. I did not get rushing 3. You know what the Broncos did on 3rd and 10? They said
they heated
if Patrick
up
Mahomes gets his first
Yep.
down, they said if he gets this first down here, they're driving down the field and winning the game. So we're selling out. We're sending a corner here to come off the edge and blitz, and lo and behold, it worked. Where the Chiefs, they also did it against the damn Chargers in week 1, which shows you how far they've come since that game. It was, well, we're going to rush 3 or 4 and drop everybody, and it just left a wide open lane for Justin Herbert. Did you have any confidence they were going to get that stop in 3rd and 15?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought 15 was too much. Like if it had been 3rd and 7 or 8 or 9, yeah. But 3rd and 15, I thought, well, first of all, I thought they're coming after him. They're heating him up. They're not just going to let him sit back there. Are we done? Is that it, I guess?
I've got my rants.
All right. I think I
pick
have to.
4 or 5 more, but I'm good, I think.
Yeah. And you got the Colts next week. I mean, you talk about high alert, man. The Chiefs, this will be good theater over the next week. And I would also, and we're getting text continue to come in, like, who's the offensive line coach? He needs to be asked questions too. Yeah. It's like, what coordinator are you most looking forward to hear from? Dave Tobe, special teams. Andy Heck, offensive line. Maybe Matt Nagy. I don't know. Not in it. This is Reed, not Nagy, but not running the ball more. Having Mahomes drop back 3 times as many times as he turns and hands it off. There's plenty of coordinators and assistant coaches that I think we'd all be dying to hear from. And we will throughout the course of the week. And if anybody says anything noteworthy, we'll play the audio for you. We get it all. So stay tuned this week as Chiefs got no time to lick their wounds because the Colts come in next Sunday as Kansas City is kind of flatlining as far as a playoff spot is concerned. 5-5, still a little time left, but about time to right the ship if they're going to get it done. Let's get to the Twitter question brought to you by Rubik Computers. That's coming your way next. It's 12:49.
The Shane Dennis Show will be right back on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart, and I have a question for you. You know that unwelcome guest everyone wishes would just leave already? That's COVID-19. That's why I got an updated booster designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. Got it? Check eligibility and schedule your updated COVID booster at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400-horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Ariya that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Ariya and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Ariya.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
This Thanksgiving morning, before the turkey and pumpkin pie, join us for a tradition that gives back. Grace Med's Say Grace 5K race. Walk, jog, or run with friends and family through Midtown Wichita, all while supporting Grace Med Health Clinic, bringing affordable care to those who need it most. Register today for the Say Grace Thanksgiving Day 5K presented by Strive Bank and ESPN Wichita. Visit saygracerace.com.
Pay heed, all who enter.
A swat on one end, a poster on the other. What a sequence.
Join the Jayhawks all season on the hardwood.
He hit it from way downtown.
The legacy continues right here on your home for Kansas Jayhawk basketball.
Tuesday, tune in to hear live coverage of Kansas and Duke in the Champions Classic. Coverage begins at 8 on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Happy birthday, Peter Cox from Go West. This is King of Wishful Thinking. Wow, that's kind of an unfortunate name. I read it out loud. It's 12:53. It's the Rivet Computers Twitter question. We're getting off topic from sports here for just a second. The Twitter question brought to you by Rivet Computers. If you got a wonky phone, a dead battery, not charging, whatever the problem is, cracked screen, otherwise, Rivet Computers has you covered. They have been Wichita's go-to for fast, affordable phone repairs for over 20 years. Most fixes are done same day. Walk-ins always welcome. Don't wait days or spend a fortune. Hop into Rivet Computers. Get your phone back up and running today. The question has to do with sodas and non-colas. We're not getting into cola wars. What do you like, Coke or Pepsi? And this question is born thanks to my mom, of all people. Got to hang out with her this weekend. And she showed up where we were hanging out with a bottle of strawberry soda, which I found kind of funny. You know, that's more reserved for a 12-year-old maybe. But hey, she wanted a soda and she got a strawberry crush. And I kind of laughed inside and actually made a comment. So, and she took it in stride and wasn't making fun of her necessarily, but thought it was kind of funny. So it got me thinking, if you're going to have a cola, instead of asking you, okay, Pepsi, Coke, I don't know if RC is still a thing. What about a non-cola though? What are you going with? What flavor? And I went with lemon lime, grape, orange, or strawberry. If you're not having a cola, what are you having? Adolph and Surly had a good one too. Said the correct answer is ginger ale. So I left off ginger ale, but that's a good one. Or cream soda, for example. But of these four that actually have flavors that you put your finger on, what's your go-to? 41.2% go with lemon lime. 23.5%, like my mom, goes with strawberry, which surprised me, over both grape and orange. And they are both tied for third with 17.6%. Jack, soda guy or no? I don't know if we've talked about this.
I am a soda guy.
What kind? What's your fave?
Well, I would say if I'm just at a restaurant and I would like to get some form of a soda, I would say that I almost always do a Pepsi.
Okay.
Coke too. I've never had that too much of a gripe with a soda. Like when people say, "Oh, can I have Coke?" and they say we just have Pepsi, and they go, "Oh, never mind, I don't want
pivot.
one." No,
yeah.
I'll get the Pepsi. All-time favorite, man, I'd say like Mr. Pibb or a cream soda, like an 8. No, I have my answer. It's root beer.
A&W.
Root beer is my number one. Yeah, A&W root beer or the Muggs root beer. It was all the time as a kid.
Barks.
So any
also
form of
has
root
a
beer,
yeah.
Oh man, that's the best. But I don't always get it when we're at a bar or something. I mean, if I'm gonna get a soda, it's usually just a Pepsi or a Coke. But if I'm really feeling myself and I want to treat myself to a nice treat, root beer. Root beer is always going to be the go-to.
That's a good call. I like it. All right. Still plenty of time to vote and repost. What's your go-to non-cola flavored soda? Most definitely A&W root beer, texter says. Yeah, dang. Okay. Non-brown / black beverage. So you can't have we're not talking about cola. We're not talking about root beer. We're not talking about Mr. Pibb. We're not talking about Dr. Pepper. How's that? Lemon lime, 40% is leading the pack. You still have plenty of time to vote and repost. Head on over to our Twitter page at ESPN Wichita. We got a question up each and every day. Tomorrow's question will be brought to you by Top Golf. So be listening to the program at this time tomorrow, and you'll have an opportunity to win something from Top Golf. It's a question to be determined for tomorrow. Still don't know yet, but today it's what's your go-to non-cola flavored soda. All right. When we return, we turn the page to college football, and K-State went down to Stillwater and got a little bit more of a tussle maybe than a lot of K-State fans would hope for or appreciate, or however you want to describe it. It was a weird one, but K-State won. So they get a little bit closer to being on the good side of respectability, I guess is the way to put it. Them and Kansas kind of are both in the same boat right about now. As K-State is now 5-5, and they survive Stillwater probably more than anything else. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a second. But before we do, we got $30 in winter cash bonus tickets from the Kansas Lottery to give away. Give us a call, 316-669-4996. College football talk, K-State, next.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton.
Whether you're hosting the big game, tailgating with friends, or just celebrating your favorite team, Auburn Spirits and Auburn Wine and Spirits have everything you need. Stock up on ice-cold beer, your favorite spirits, and wines that will make every kickoff, touchdown, and victory taste even better. Make Auburn Spirits at 135th and Maple and Auburn Wine and Spirits at 320 North Rock Road your game day headquarters. Auburn Spirits and Auburn Wine and Spirits, where your winning season begins. Celebrate local with Auburn and visit us at auburnspirits.com.
And we are all tied up in the bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded. Electric in here. Electric. It all comes down to this pitch. You throw the fastball here. But it looks like Brock is walking off the field and is leaving the stadium. What is going on here?
I'm getting word that he left to get a taco. When you need a taco, you need a taco. Introducing the new Cantina Crispy Melt Taco, only from Taco Bell. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works overtime with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget's available in a concentrate or extreme reach hose-in. Purchase Wet and Forget in store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
This November, the spotlight's on you at Rock and Bruce Casino, I-35 exit 231 in Bremen. It's the Rock and Choose grand finale. Earn entries all month for your chance to pick an incredible prize. Imagine paying your bills for a year, jetting off to Paris, scoring $10,000 cash, or riding away with a Z530R Z-Track mower. 4 winners will be announced at 10 p.m. on November 29th. Don't wait. Get in the game at Rock and Bruce Casino, I-35 exit 231 in Bremen. Rock and Bruce Casino. Eat, win, rock on. Owned by the Caw Nation.
Jayhawk fans, for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks, there's not a better place to go than the all-new KansasNation.com. Interviews, news conferences, feature articles, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. It's all at kansasnation.com. Daily and weekly shows with an all-star lineup including Sean Kellerman, Daniel Courtwright, Ryan Haney, Brandon McAnderson, Chris Harris, Greg Gurley, Mick Schaefer, Nate Bukaty, Pat Strathman, and many more. kansasnation.com.
Red Monday is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Please drink responsibly.
Lonnie DeVoe, born day. He of Belle Biv DeVoe fame. Hour number 2 here on a Monday. Keep your texts rolling in if you want to at 247-0923. Congratulations, Sean, the latest winner of our lottery tickets from the Kansas Lottery. Sean, hope you get rich. You can enter holiday scratch tickets into Play On for a chance to win up to $20,000 in winner cash bonus second chance drawings. Did you also know that you can play Kansas Lottery online with Play On? You can play games, purchase Powerball and Mega Millions, and enter drawings and promotions all from your phone or device. College football talk now, here in hour number 2. K-State goes into Stillwater as a near 3 touchdown favorite. And I don't know if they escaped Boone Pickens Stadium, but they kind of snuck out of Boone Pickens. 14-6 was the final, giving K-State only their 3rd win in 27 years at Boone Pickens Stadium. And they're now 5-5. One more win will get them to bowl eligibility. And you don't want to necessarily take anything for granted, not only with K-State, but KU either. But they do have, is it Colorado next weekend? I think it is, or maybe 2 weekends from now. Because they have
it's Utah this coming weekend.
Utah, and then maybe Colorado after that. But yeah. And K-State, of course, then goes to Iowa State, and then Utah to end the regular year. Both of them trying to get one more. And I don't mean to pick apart what Chris Kleiman said, and I don't mean to necessarily pick apart what others have maybe kind of echoed, but this is akin to KU fans realizing what the Jayhawks came from before Lance Leipold and what they have now, and then wanting a little more to take that next step. And forgive me if you think I'm way out in left field here, but I think that's similar to the reaction that Chris Kleiman had, at least to the media, versus maybe what he could have and should have said when playing this Oklahoma State team versus Oklahoma State teams of the past. I forget exactly how Jack put it during our Pick 6 segment, but perhaps, if memory serves, called them the worst team in Power 4, Power 5, however you want to put it. And I wouldn't argue with him. They're winless in the Big 12 and only one win overall. They're 1-9 after the loss. But Chris Kleiman said, quote, "I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this because we won in Stillwater. We'd been here in 2019, 2021, and 2023 and just got drilled." He went on to say, stand by, "We found a way. I'm not going to apologize for a win." End of quote. Yeah. And normally I'm a guy, especially at this point in the season, you probably heard me say it before. You certainly don't apologize for wins, but for the most part, you don't pick apart how they looked or the aesthetics, like was it pretty or not. This definitely was not pretty, unless you like defense. And in that case, K-State forcing 5 turnovers and only scoring 2 touchdowns, making that stand up, yeah, that part is commendable for sure. But K-State was outgained by almost 90 yards. And that's a hollow stat when Oklahoma State turns it over 5 times, kind of, I guess. But maybe it says more about K-State's offensive production than the defense allowing 373 yards. I guess it's, 6 and 1, half dozen in the other. Oklahoma State entered this game 79-1 when holding opponents under 20 points. But again, this is a shell of former Oklahoma State teams. And Oklahoma State actually had a couple of 47-yard field goals to take a 6-0 lead. Avery Johnson had a game, 15 of 28 for 177, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Joe Jackson, 69 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Played the second half without Jace Brown. That certainly didn't help. He had 3 for 82 with a touchdown in the first half. Had a sling, wearing a sling in the second half, in which he didn't play. Overall, K-State had those 2 touchdowns, but the 1 interception by Johnson, a missed field goal, 6 punts, and a first half that led to a 7-6 lead. When you look at the final numbers, now the scoreboard is the ultimate. I admit it. I will give you that. But considering what Chris Kleiman said, and he said it, he was ecstatic, and he was not going to apologize for a win. Nope, no question about that. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this. What he's going to enjoy the heck out of is Oklahoma State having 9 more first downs, having 40 more rushing yards, averaging better than 5 yards per carry. This is Oklahoma State. And net 50 more passing yards. Now, Avery Johnson didn't throw 3 interceptions like Oklahoma State did. But they had Oklahoma State more yards, more plays, a higher average yard per play. The more plays is misleading because of the number of turnovers. But you would argue that with 5 turnovers, K-State should have ran more plays than Oklahoma State did, but they didn't. And K-State also committed 2 more penalties for 24 more penalty yards, 6 for 50. And about the only thing that K-State outdid Oklahoma State in was punting / field position, which allowed for, and some would argue, more yards for Oklahoma State. Man, this point in the season, yeah, you just take the wins and then you move on. But I didn't think that maybe Dylan Edwards not being in the lineup and / quitting the team would have this big an effect of the offense. And maybe Oklahoma State just played the game of the year as far as their effort, their execution, all that stuff defensively and bottling up K-State. But 14-6 is beyond winning ugly. Like that was woof. Now, and maybe you flush it and you just don't concern yourself with the fact that you only scored 15 points and you got outdone in every other way. K-State fans, what do you think? Well, I know what you think. You can text if you want, but don't bother. I already know what you think. 247-0923. It's scar tissue. I get it, from past trips to Stillwater. Stillwater under Mike Gundy before this year is a hard place to play. KU fans know it. K-State fans know it. But this is like I said, this is a skeleton crew of skill position guys playing for Oklahoma State. And to only win 14-6, I got questions, man. Or is there a bigger thing going on inside the walls? I'm worried about how many have checked out. That's a legit question, Texter. One that we will only be able to speculate on because we're not inside that locker room, but makes you wonder. Another texter said that game was such a hard watch. Surprise. I sat there and watched the whole thing. Good for you, Texter. Watched that whole thing. And I imagine you partially were watching it, waiting for K-State to kind of break out and pull away and make it, 28-6 and make everybody among Manhattan faithful feel a little bit better about that thing. But never happened. And I would hope and I would think, and kind of putting a bow on this, I would think that Chris Kleiman, after or before he met with the media, I would hope he told his players that was BS out there. This is not acceptable. Ignore what I say to the media out there about coming into Stillwater in the last 3 or 4 times and getting our butts kicked. You should have killed these guys. And I'm disappointed. But I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give Oklahoma State credit. I'm going to give Stillwater credit. I'm going to take the high road and I'm going to say all the right things. But don't get this twisted. You guys stunk it up today. And if not, you can't count on 5 turnovers, although in some ways you can because Oklahoma State stinks. But, man, to turn it over, or get 5 turnovers and to have 2 touchdowns, man, 14-6 was the final. 316-247-0923. So now K-State needing one more Big 12 win to get to bowl eligibility. Them and Kansas right there on the doorstep. They both will be underdogs going into their next game. That would be this Saturday. KU in Ames, kick at 11. K-State in Salt Lake City, kick at 3. K-State a sizable underdog, 2 touchdowns plus at Utah. Utah 8-2, 5-12, 5-2 in the Big 12. So you got both teams. I wouldn't say KU's necessarily looking up the side of a mountain. K-State kind of is, especially on the heels of the way they played and who they're going to play next. Both teams with opportunities to finally exhale. KU blew theirs in Tucson to try to get to 6 wins. And let's also keep in mind, and you Jayhawk fans and Wildcat fans, don't need me to tell you, you both expected more than just getting bowl eligible. But here we are. And so would that at least ease the sting of a disappointing year for both? I would think a little bit. I don't mean to speak for you guys, but this is where we are. These 2 teams are 5-5. KU going to Ames is a 4.5-point underdog. And K-State going to Salt Lake City as a 16.5-point underdog. And maybe K-State uses that fuel that we only beat these scrubs 14-6 to lock back in. Assuming that the majority or some important skill position guys haven't checked out. Assuming they haven't, maybe they just sleptwalked all the way through the Oklahoma State game because they knew they were going to win, planned like Oklahoma State was going to lay down for them. They didn't. It's a wake-up call, on and on and on. Kind of like the scenario that I painted for Jack going into the Iowa State game. Does the KU coaching staff learn from their mistakes and their conservative play calls, and they let it all hang out against Iowa State and try to get to that 6th win so they don't have to count on a win against Utah? Jack's skeptical, but I'm at least throwing it out there that it's possible. Same for K-State, that they overlooked Oklahoma State. They were lucky to win, and now they're going to lock back in as a big underdog against Utah and make that one final push to try to get to bowl eligibility. Colorado at home, regular season finale. They're going to be big favorites in that one, but you don't want to go into your last game needing to win for really anything if you can take care of it the week before. Bigger odds against them, no question. When they go to Utah, Utah's a tough place to play. But you don't want to have to wait until the last regular season game to try to get to that coveted 6 wins. Same with KU for different reasons, because Utah is a lot tougher than Colorado is. But that's who the Jayhawks have to end the regular season on Black Friday at 11 a.m. Game you can hear right here on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. Speaking of which, now again, we're putting the cart before the horse just a little bit, but we want to at least alert you of what's going to go on here, play-by-play wise, show wise, etc., over the next couple of weeks here on the channel, being your home of Jayhawk sports. It's going to get busy now with basketball and football kind of spilling into each other's seasons. Starting tomorrow, we're going to have KU Duke coverage starting at 6:30. That's on the hardwood, of course. That will be must listen here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. That coverage starts at 6:30. And then Wednesday, we'll have Hawk Talk with Lance Leipold at 6 o'clock. He will certainly be previewing that Iowa State game. So lock in there, Jayhawk football fans. Hawk Talk Wednesday at 6. And then coming up on the weekend, we got KU Iowa State pregame at 9:30 on Saturday, ahead of that early kick in Ames at 11 o'clock. So get that for you. And then, of course, a NFL doubleheader next Sunday. And then Thanksgiving week, here's where it gets kind of if-then scenario. KU basketball for you Monday and Tuesday at 2 o'clock. That we know. That's in that tournament out in Las Vegas. So we're going to have KU hoops Monday the 24th, Tuesday the 25th. Both of those games will be at 2. Opponents we know, Notre Dame and Syracuse. Beyond that, we won't know when they play on Wednesday. So that is strictly TBA. So we're all kind of hanging loose for Wednesday. But beyond that, Thursday, Jayhawks. Friday, Jayhawks. Friday is KU Utah with kick at 11. Leading you into, well, that's Thanksgiving week. So post-Thanksgiving Day, we got KU and Utah at 11 on Friday the 28th. So all that to look forward to over the next couple of weeks. Man, if you love sports, these 2 weeks are made for you, especially the week of Thanksgiving with so many basketball games, with football games mixed in there on Thanksgiving Day. Of course, Chiefs Cowboys, you can hear right here on the channel on the 27th, which is Thanksgiving. That ought to be entertaining too. And we'll be talking about it, previewing, reacting to all of that over the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to the month of December. All right. When we return, we need to get to our player of the week. And it's brought to you by PHP Law. We'll have ours when we return. It's 1:19.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
Hi, this is Brian Davis with Davis Liquor Outlet. And this is Blake Davis with savings on Pavette wine, 750 ml, just $9.99. And if you want to enjoy the holidays, the Poppic Red and Chardonnay, only $12.99. Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated. Neighborhood locations with superstore pricing.
Hey, it's Jeff from American Shaman. People ask, how are you still here? We're here because we believe life is beautiful, we believe in wellness and natural solutions, and we believe your life is better with the feather. If you agree, come see us at American Shaman in Wichita and Derby and online at yourcbd.pro.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
This Thanksgiving morning, before the turkey and pumpkin pie, join us for a tradition that gives back. Grace Med's Say Grace 5K race. Walk, jog, or run with friends and family through Midtown Wichita, all while supporting Grace Med Health Clinic, bringing affordable care to those who need it most. Register today for the Say Grace Thanksgiving Day 5K presented by Strive Bank and ESPN Wichita. Visit saygracerace.com.
Listen up, soccer fans. Visit Wichita is excited to bring the NJCAA Division II Men's and Women's Soccer National Championships to Wichita this November. Witness the best junior college teams from around the country compete November 16th through the 22nd at Shields Striker Sports Complex. You'll see high-quality, fast-paced soccer that is fun for the whole family. For tickets, go to visitwichita.com/get-tickets. That's visitwichita.com/get-tickets.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Obviously, it's going to be tough to get back in the division race, but at the end of the day, all of the goal is to get into the playoffs and try to make a run at it. You got to learn from this one as much as possible, knowing that we're going to get a great opponent going into Arrowhead this next week. Kind of at that point where we got to find a way to just win football games and kind of keep moving forward with this league all about.
Wichita's home for Chiefs coverage. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
One of the Hansons born day today, Isaac. That's their hit. 122. Time now here on a Monday for our Player of the Week, brought to you by Prochaska, Howland Prochaska Law. For more than 38 years, their experienced team has helped fight for your rights regardless of legal status. Call them right now or whenever you need them. 316-683-9080. Again, PHP Law. Put them in your phone. 316-683-9080. Or find them online at phpattorneys.com. Player of the Week for me, Jacoby Brissett, of all people. They played he's Cardinals quarterback now that Kyler Murray has been shelved for quite some time. Cardinals quarterback Jacoby Brissett set an NFL record yesterday and couldn't have been less excited about it. Very succinctly put by John Weinfuss from ESPN.com. Brissett completed 47 passes. Arizona lost 41-22 to the 49ers, State Farm Stadium. He also threw for a career high 452 yards. So no real surprise there that 47 completions would yield a career high in yards. 10-year veteran, broke the record initially set by Drew Bledsoe all the way back in 1994. 45 completions was the previous record. Jared Goff tied it in 2019 by completing 45. But as so often happens, when you drop back that many times, that means you're behind. And they were really never a part of that game. That's the way the NFL goes, though, as you know. The 49ers were in control. It's 35-10 when it was really important. But you know how the NFL is by now. You fight until the last dog's dead. You don't concede until the final drive of the game, and you're still down whatever they are. 19 was the final margin. But Brissett said, quote, "I promise you, man, I could care less about that part of it. Man, I hope somebody breaks it tomorrow or whenever. I mean, I just want to win." End of quote. They're 3-7. The Cardinals are right now. His 452 passing yards ranked 7th most in a game in Cardinals history. Most since Kurt Warner threw for 472 17 years ago. So kind of a dubious record, maybe. But hopefully, for his sake, that one of these days, Jacoby Brissett will look back and at least be kind of proud. Yeah, it's in defeat, but 47 completions, nothing to sneeze at. So good for Jacoby Brissett, as far as I'm concerned. Anytime you break an NFL record, regardless of what it is, I suppose unless it's for most interceptions or something like that, then yeah, maybe we need to amend things a little bit. But good for Jacoby Brissett. I got an honorable mention here in a second. But Jack, you got a PHP Law Player of the Week for you?
Well, I might as well just give it up to the entire Oklahoma team. The way they went into Tuscaloosa, I didn't give them much of a chance. I wasn't sold that with the way that they had looked and the way that Alabama had looked since early on in the season, that they were going to have much of a chance. So instead of maybe the entire team here, I still got to be pretty general here. How about the defense? The offense got outgained by, I believe, 200-plus yards, but they had a pick six in this one. They also had to set up a short field for the offense, and they got it done 23-21, and it was a game they absolutely had to have a chance at the college football playoffs. They were number 11 going in, and now at 8-2, they're going to have a damn good chance to get there. And if they would have fallen to 7-3, it would have dropped them back in the standings, maybe to 15th or 16th, which wouldn't have been the end of the world, but you're not getting into the college football playoffs, which I know that was their expectation after what they put together last year, which was a largely underwhelming season for them. But to go into Tuscaloosa with the way that Alabama had been playing since losing to Florida State all the way back in week one, I didn't give them much of a chance at all. And that defense, they got it done. So that entire defense, defensive coordinator, whoever you want to get it to, I'll give them the honor of the team / player of the week.
Yeah, that's no small feat for sure. So initially, before Brissett did what he did yesterday, I was kind of scouring the internet on, who did what, who had maybe a standout game, able to be a part of a team that pulled an upset. And I was looking through the leaders in college football, week 12, individually, of course, maybe for a spot on the PHP Law Player of the Week. And I looked at the leading passers in FCS individually. Ranged from 439 yards. By the way, could have been Marcel Reed, could have been Texas A&M for what their giant comeback against South Carolina. But Marcel Reed led the nation in passing yards this week with 439, but he also threw 2 picks. So I weeded him out and I started looking. The top 10 passing leaders in college football in week 12, yards wise, range from 439 all the way down to 338. Jack, if I told you the top 10 individual passing leaders yards wise, how many of those 10 won their game, what would you say? This kind of goes hand in hand with Brissett throwing for a bunch of yards and losing in the NFL.
Yeah.
So out of the 10, how many won?
I'll play it safe and say 5 out of the 10.
3. Only 3 won. Sawyer Robertson from Baylor threw for 430 in their loss against Utah. Ben Finley from Akron threw for 424. They lost. Roman Galliano, I know you know who that is, Middle Tennessee's quarterback. They lost to Western Kentucky in spite of his 389. You get the idea. Only 3 guys. Marcel Reed at the very top. Haynes King, the Georgia Tech guy, threw for 371 as they escaped against Boston College. And Western Kentucky's quarterback in the duel against Middle Tennessee State, he went for 371. He won. All the rest of them lost. Now, rushing leaders. Jack, same question. Of the top 10 rushing leaders individually, what did their teams do record-wise? How many of the 10 did they win?
I'll go on the flip side and say 8 out of the 10.
9. 9. Yeah.
Wow.
So if you lead, if you have a monster game on the ground, you're probably going to win. And if you have a monster game through the air, you're probably going to lose. And that was the case in college football. My other shout out, my honorable mention player of the week. And I joked with Jack about this before we went on. And of course, our Royals fandom is very well known on this particular show. One of the guys that avoided, I don't want to say avoided marriage. That's terrible to say. But Royals Hall of Fame play-by-play man, Denny Matthews, who was a lifelong bachelor. He just turned 83. He had a birthday 3 days ago. Denny Matthews, at 83, got married over the weekend. He got married at, very aptly, Kauffman Stadium. He got married at the stadium. So he ends 83 years of the bachelor life, tied the knot at Kauffman Stadium. Better late than never, I guess. Decided to get married, said the idea for getting married at the K came from his now wife. Her name was Amy Baker. I don't know what she's going to be known as, but Denny said, quote, she said, let's do it at the ballpark, and it would be a ballpark themed wedding. Or if you want to look at it another way, a royal wedding. The heck with England, we got our own royal wedding. She said no tuxes, no fancy dresses, no black tie. Just wear what you would wear to the wedding if you were coming to the ballpark to a game. That sounded like fun. This is Denny talking. And she said, instead of a big fancy dinner, we'll just have ballpark food with a few little extras. Not just hot dogs and mustard and all that. Just a few little extra things. All the guests are invited to wear their favorite Royals gear. And if you show up in a black tie or fancy dress, you're ejected. Umpire's going to kick you out. End of quote. Amy Baker, whose idea this was, grew up in Atchison, was a softball player, according to Denny. And apparently Matthews has had a special place in Amy's heart well before they met for the first time. As a child growing up, she, along with the rest of us, listened to Denny and the Royals. Their first date was at the K. They met more than 15 years ago when Denny went to the dentist and she was working there. Denny later said, quote, I invited her to come out to a game and she was excited to do that. I invited her up to the booth for a couple of innings. It ended up she sat there the whole game. And then we went downstairs to the Crown Club and everybody was pretty well gone after the game was over. We sat there for about an hour and a half just telling each other our life stories, as it turns out. End of quote. So I don't want to say the most eligible bachelor of Kansas City, but maybe one of the more famous ones is off the market. Denny got married, and he got married at the ballpark at Kauffman Stadium. Congratulations to Denny and Amy. They tie the knot. Royals Hall of Famer Denny Matthews, my honorable mention player of the week. Brought to you by PHP Law for more than 38 years. Their experienced team has helped fight for your rights, regardless of legal status. Check them out at phpattorneys.com or call 683-9080. When we return, I'm old, Jack's young. Next.
The Shane Dennis Show will be right back on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain? At Midwest Pain Relief Center, we provide cutting-edge, drug-free therapies to help you live a more active, full life right here in Wichita and the surrounding communities. We're Kansas' top integrated medical clinic focused on finding and treating the root cause for your pain with personalized care. No prescriptions, no unnecessary surgeries. Call 316-295-3662 today or visit MidwestPainReliefCenter.com or drop by 151 North Ridge, Suite 6 in Wichita. Midwest Pain Relief Center. Stop hurting, start healing.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
In business, just like in sports, the best defense wins games. That's where Conradi Insurance comes in, delivering elite risk management and employee benefits to companies across the greater Wichita area. As the largest family-owned independent insurance agency in Wichita, we don't just talk the talk. We protect Kansas businesses like they're part of our team. Conradi Insurance, built for business, rooted in community, always playing to win. Visit ConradiInsurance.com to get in the game.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
Pay heed, all who enter.
A swat on one end, a poster on the other. What a sequence.
Join the Jayhawks all season on the hardwood.
He hit it from way downtown.
The legacy continues right here on your home for Kansas Jayhawk basketball.
Tuesday, tune in to hear live coverage of Kansas and Duke in the Champions Classic. Coverage begins at 8 on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Let's talk this over. It's not like we're dead. Was it something I did? Was it something you said? Don't leave me hanging in a city so dead. Held up so high on such a breakable thread. You were all the things.
I'm old, Jack's young. I'm not quite as old as Denny. 1:38 here on a Monday. Thank you for all the interaction on the text line. Lots of it today. But there should be a lot to react to from the weekend. So appreciate y'all. Man, I'm going to be kicking myself for this, aren't I, Jack, if I don't get it?
She was very popular for a point in time.
Yeah. I remember this song, too.
Also, I did get the clean version here, so
Okay.
I'm hoping YouTube doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, if we get any curse words, don't report me, okay?
Okay, yeah, we all promise not to. Can you do you think giving me the initial of her first name would give it away?
Not necessarily. A.
Yeah, I think it will. That's what I was hoping for. Is it Avril Lavigne?
There you go.
Yeah.
1 for 1 to start the week.
All right. It's either her, Natasha Bedingfield, or there's another girl, female of that era. I hate to say it, but all their songs sounded kind of the same. But all right, there we go. 1:40. Pat will be here in just a second. He's not here just yet. But I'm old, Jack's young. I kind of failed to deliver on the promise that I made earlier in the show. Big week ahead for KU, K-State, and Wichita State. We can push that to tomorrow because KU and Wichita State both play tomorrow against Duke and Boise State, respectively. And tonight, K-State plays Tulsa. So all the state schools will be trying to stay unbeaten, and it'll be tough-ish for all of them. Tulsa's 3-0, going into Bramlage tonight, 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, both for KU playing Duke and Wichita State playing Boise State. So we'll have a little bit more chatter about that tomorrow as we get into the week and a busy next couple of weeks, to be sure. All right, I'm old Jack Young, celebrating birthdays today, November 17. Start off with Ryan Braun, 42.
Former Brewer.
Correct. Pat's here now. Same day, same year, Nick Markakis.
Former Oriole, and got a lot closer to 3,000 hits than people realize.
I remember that was a conversation once upon a time. Yeah.
It's like if Nick Markakis played X amount of years, he'd get there.
Wow.
Very underrated player.
He was.
Cannon of an arm.
Baltimore, Atlanta, won a Gold Glove, was an All-Star, Silver Slugger Award. Reggie Wayne, 47.
Colt.
Pat, did you ever own Reggie Wayne in fantasy football?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Couple of years. How could you not go after Reggie Wayne?
You probably won some money if Reggie Wayne was one of your receivers.
Guy was good.
Man, it was Marvin Harrison and then him.
Isn't he a coach now?
I don't know about that. Is he one of those former NFL players turned coaches?
I'm going to look it up.
Went to the U.
Currently the wide receivers coach for the Colts.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought he was with Indianapolis. But
wonder if he goes out and runs routes with them. Here, do it like this.
Yeah. Watch this. It's not that hard.
Yeah, just do it like this.
Watch. What was the song, by the way?
It was Avril Lavigne, So Much for My Happy Ending. I don't know if that's the name of the song, but that's how the lyrics went.
And you got it.
I did, but I needed a hint.
What was the hint?
Well, it's the first letter of her first name.
Oh.
I asked Jack if he thought that would give it away. He didn't, but it did. Like that. That's what I needed. If it would have been something else, yeah. Anyway. Eli Marrero, 52.
Let's go baseball.
Yes. Oh,
Jack.
Yeah. Former Cuban catcher, Cardinals and others. Sean Miller, 57.
This basketball coach, Sean Miller.
Mm-hmm.
How many shirts do you think he goes through?
Man, that was such a weird thing. I'll never forget watching the...
Well, he wears quarter zips now, so kind of hard to sweat through those.
I don't know, man. Do you see that first 4 game between Wichita State and Arizona once upon a time? I think it was the first 4 game. Am I wrong about that? You know the game I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was something.
I mean,
can you do something about that?
Just
like
look at that. Yeah, I don't know. What can you do?
I don't know.
Outside of just
get on some meds somehow?
He might have. Yeah. Does he have, what was it called? Hydrosis?
I don't know what it's
Where
called.
you just sweat. Like I had a buddy in high school that had that problem. He had to take some injection actually, because you'd be sitting there and you'd be like sweating your ass off.
Wow.
Has to be frustrating.
No doubt. It's like, sorry.
You're always wet.
Just
that Keegan and Peele skit.
Changing clothes.
Yeah, someone early in his team's NCAA tournament game against Wichita State, Arizona, looked like this. Not 10 minutes in, though, and just him just completely
Sockers
sweating.
won that game, too, as I recall.
But as Wichita State pulled away in the second half, oh, no. It's happening again. Managers went back to the Arizona hotel to get Sean Miller another dress shirt.
Back
during
to the
that
hotel.
game.
Here's my key. Head back to
You
the
couldn't
Marriott.
pay
I'm
me
in.
to put on another dress shirt after that.
I'm in 1344. Go get me another shirt. Oh my God.
I'm just looking at it right now. Arizona lost 65-55, by the way.
Do you remember? And of course, this is when they all wore suits. There would be a watch on the length of time that Kelvin Sampson kept his jacket on. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes followed by the tie.
Well, wasn't it the same way with Roy Williams,
not
too?
the same reason.
Wasn't it the same way with Roy?
He'd take the coat off?
Almost positive.
I don't recall that.
I think Roy did it.
Jack?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Thoughts?
I don't have a vivid memory, whether it be a highlight or a game that I can. I'm sure he did. I just always remember some of the shots they had of Roy. He still had his jacket on, but
okay.
I mean, Allen Fieldhouse, there's no AC, so I'm sure there was a lot of times that you wanted to take the jacket off because it's so damn hot.
Yeah, Kelvin Sampson for sure, though.
Perspiration talk here on the
yeah,
show.
Here we go. It's that type of Monday.
Jeff Nelson, 59.
Baseball.
Very good. Really, really tall pitcher for the Yankees, and I believe the Mariners too. Butch Davis, 74.
Football.
Yep. Born in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. He was featured in the U, of course, former Miami coach.
Home to Northeastern State
Thank
University. I thought that's what you were waiting on.
No,
Okay. Never mind.
Tahlequah is fun to say.
It is.
It's not too far from here.
Ever been to Tahlequah?
I'm sure I've been through it or near it. Would I know if I was?
I mean,
is it significant in any way?
No.
Like the home of the second largest ball of yarn or anything like that?
I've been to Tahlequah a handful of times.
How do you get to Tahlequah from here? Then?
From here, that part I don't know. I just know trying to get to Tahlequah was always a challenge when I was in Topeka.
I'm sure it was.
It was a challenge because it's hilly and you have to go through here. Like, not great.
Okay. The pioneer lady on the Cooking Network from Tahlequah. That's right.
Yeah.
The redhead.
Love that show.
I do too. And I don't know if you're kidding or not,
Makes you
Jack, and I
hungry.
don't care.
No.
Okay, you're serious.
I
Good.
love the Food Network shows. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I mean, you just
Pioneer
love
Ladies
to have
on the
dinner and
weekends,
watch
Pat.
one of those
Yeah.
shows.
Never have heard
Yep.
of it.
It's on oh man, is it Hulu? You can also get they have the full series. No, it's HBO Max. You can add all the seasons are there.
I thought Jack was messing with me. I'm glad.
I'm not messing with you.
That's awesome.
I'm not messing with you.
Pioneer Ladies from Tahlequah. That's right.
Only two shows.
Great recipes. Tried out a few.
Okay, Pat, first of
Damn
all,
good.
don't tell me you've never seen Chopped.
No,
on the
see,
Food
I was just going to tell you there are only
Chopped
two
is
shows that come to my mind when you bring up like Food Network, whatever it might be. Chopped
Okay.
is number one.
What's the other one?
Iron Chef
Okay.
is, I mean, the other one.
We could have a tournament.
And then you
Drive-In
had
Dive.
Yep. That's the other one.
Guys,
We've got
grocery
the other-
games.
Nope.
Pioneer Lady on the
Nope.
weekends.
Nope.
Yeah, the baking competitions too.
Yep.
Those ones are fun. The Tournament of Champions.
Tournament of
that's another
Champions,
great one
yep,
to watch.
correct.
It's great
Tournament of
background
Champions?
noise. Yep, cook-offs.
Beat Bobby Flay.
Everything about the Food
When I
Network
get
is
home
live.
today,
Also, Barefoot Contessa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of these right now.
Chopped will be on when I get home.
The
from here.
Pioneer Woman.
Pioneer Woman.
Never.
She's super twangy, but makes some
Super peaceful show.
very
Super peaceful. Gives you the full course meal. It starts with like the appetizer, and you get the full course meal, and you get the
Oh.
dessert. 20-minute watch.
You probably remember Restaurant Impossible.
Yeah, I do actually.
Do you really?
Restaurant Impossible had the guy with the glasses, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yep.
Yeah, but the only ones that come to my mind right away. Chopped, Iron Chef.
Hey, Jack, Molly with the big ears. What's that cooking show called? She's from North Dakota.
Oh, yes.
She
She's
lives on a
got
farm.
Morning show.
Yeah,
Sean.
that's right.
I can't think of the name right now, but I also watch The Kitchen, which actually now just got, they've had their final, like they're no longer making new episodes, but they have reruns all the time.
Oh, okay.
Kitchen's awesome.
That's what a texter just sent. saying it's kind of sad that one's going away. Respiration.
Because they give you
Food
great
Network
recipes,
talk.
and they're like, there's themes. It's like, hey, the kitchen did one where it was like football tailgates, what you can bring.
Ooh.
Always great creativity.
Food Network
It's-
star.
Diners,
stuff looks
drive-ins,
amazing.
and dives.
I forgot about Rachel Ray.
I mean, that's unbeatable. Man versus Food used to be on the Food Network.
Man versus Food
And
was
the Travel
kind of
Channel.
gross in a weird way, but I'd watch that too. Yeah, all the food challenges.
See, I liked it because Adam Richmond was never like a slob when he wasn't gorging.
Mhm.
Like he had to eat these big meals, but he never looked disgusting.
How did he
It's kind of
not?
a weird way to say it.
Yeah.
I know. No, he also has like his own thing now. I can't remember. He has like his own the history of
It's like
food.
yeah,
I
it's like on
believe
the
it is.
History
Really cool
Channel. Yeah,
documentary.
yeah. How
Yeah.
America was built.
Really good and interesting.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Unwrapped.
The food that made us, or something like the movies
Yes.
that made us.
Mhm. Adam Richmond almost always won whatever challenge it was, by the way. He
did.
hardly ever lost.
Mhm.
Born on this day, now dead. Tom Seaver,
Baseball.
2020, when he checked out. 4-time Cy Young Award winner, 12-time All-Star. Tom Terrific. He was the original Tom Terrific, not Tom Brady. Tom Seaver. Jim Boeheim, 81.
Q's coach.
What do you think of him when you think Jim Boeheim? What's the first thing that pops in your head? Either one of
Something
you
that
guys.
happened off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Pioneer Woman's in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Yeah, I think you're right. But you know who we're talking about, Texas. Pawhuska, Tahlequah, same thing.
Don't interrupt.
Yeah.
Whatever, Russ. Whatever.
Now, we've had some great interaction on the old text line. Jim Boeheim's a used car salesman, man.
That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that's
I
a
remember when
compliment.
it was when they were in Cameron Indoor, and it was CJ Fair, I think, had the and one with like seconds left. They called a charge, and he went ballistic and ran on the court, and then got tossed from the game. And I always thought at the time, like, yeah, you can lose your cool, but I'm pretty sure it was a 1-point game. And even though it would have been a turnover, they could have fouled and then had another chance, but he got tossed, and it was the double technicals, so they got 4 free throws and the ball, and that won it for Duke. But he like took off his jacket and threw it at the officials and stuff, and was halfway on the floor. That's what I think of basketball wise. Certainly can block out 2003, but basketball wise, it's what I think of. But I also have to acknowledge something that happened off the court.
Yeah. Neither one of you guys can relate, but some of our listeners can. Georgetown, Syracuse in the Carrier Dome back in the day, man, was that must see, regardless of who won. Pearl Washington, Patrick Ewing, all those guys. John Thompson versus Jim Boeheim. Dead Day, Bo Schembechler, 2006.
Gosh.
Come on, Jack. You don't know who Bo
Sounds like
Schim-
a football name.
Yeah, former
Not
coach
really.
and
Okay.
administrator, University of Michigan, back when they were good back in the day. Ooh, Kurt Budke, 2011.
Mm.
You remember this one, Jack?
Not really, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'll give you a pass. Maybe.
Okay.
Coach.
guess baseball.
He was a coach.
Okay. Football.
No, he's a basketball coach.
Ah.
Died at the age of 50, plane crash. Oklahoma State.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oklahoma State plane crash.
Oh, he says here's from Salina.
Correct.
That's why I also,
College at Washburn.
there you go. I was just gonna bring up. That's how I
And
know
Wichita
Kurt
State.
Budke,
Assistant.
because up there in Salina,
There were rumors more than once. New Wichita State women's basketball coach. Bring Kurt Budke in here. Pete Newell.
Gosh, this was 2011. I
Yeah.
can't believe I didn't. It was a recruiting trip, and
Yeah.
everybody on board passed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you say?
Pete Newell. 2008.
I'll stay basketball.
Yeah. Another basketball coach. Very good. And you're almost perfect there. No? Missed one?
I missed a few.
You missed one.
I think I missed two.
Okay. All right, that's a good day for us. Cover a lot of ground. Pat will take the baton and continue to cover said ground here on a Monday. Huge week. Sports play-by-play, our shows may or may not get interrupted next week, feast week, but we look forward to that, no doubt about it. Got the Cowboys and Raiders, Monday Night Football tonight, 6:45. So stick around for that. But in the meantime, the Pulse, Pat, coming up next.
Bye, Shane.
See ya.
Red Monday is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Please drink responsibly.
Monday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Week 11 concludes with a Monday night matchup as the Raiders host the Dallas Cowboys. This is Jerry Recco. Join Steve Berline and me for all the action as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys look to regain their winning form, but Max Crosby and the Raiders are hungry for a victory. It's the Dallas Cowboys and Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Wichita's home for the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Oh, I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. On that heavy shelf you hung yesterday. Turns out you didn't use enough anchors. Wait, you didn't use any anchors? Now you've got an open floor plan. Trendy. And if you have the wrong home insurance, you could need a wall of money to fix this. So get home insurance with Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Chiefs Kingdom, want to light up your fan cave? Bud Light and ESPN Wichita are teaming up to give away a Chiefs Bud Light neon sign for your football cave. Pay close attention to the Shane Dennis Show in the Pulse with Pat Strathman, and when you hear this sounder, text 316-247-0923 for your chance to win. It's brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Catch the best Chiefs coverage only on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. We start with NFL injury news. In Atlanta, the Falcons may be without quarterback Michael Penix Jr. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the second-year quarterback is expected to miss the remainder of the season after suffering a knee injury yesterday. ESPN Radio's Clinton Yates says this injury could have long-term effects beyond this year.
Michael Penix Jr. is a nice kid. He's a good guy. He's dealt with this before, and it was devastating then, and it feels devastating now.
Another team is dealing with a quarterback injury. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, there's concern that Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers may have suffered a break in his left wrist during yesterday's win over the Bengals. Also, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Eagles offensive lineman Lane Johnson has a Liz Frank injury, which could land Johnson on an injury reserve, but is not expected to be season-ending. The Jets are making a quarterback change. The team has benched Justin Fields in favor of veteran Tyrod Taylor. Tonight on Monday Night Football, the Cowboys visit the Raiders. Dallas is 3-5-1. Vegas 2-7. The game kicks off just after 8 Eastern on ABC and ESPN. To the NBA, according to ESPN Shams Charania, Paul George will make his season debut for the Sixers tonight against the Clippers. He had knee surgery in the offseason.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, the Eagles and the Rams are both 8-2. But who will be number one on my power rankings? Find out at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
You're listening to The Pulse with Pat Strathman on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Small town, big dreams, and a young boy the age of 15. Had a premonition his city would get seen. Now I'm winning, get Sheen in the city of the home.
What's up, Wichita? Happy Monday, everyone. Not a victory Monday, however. At least not if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. The Kansas City Chiefs dropped to 5-5 after a loss to the Denver Broncos. Whoa, boy. I have a feeling you all have plenty of things to share on the text line for today. So let's get into it. Welcome into the Pulse on Wichita Sports Leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. You can listen to us on the radio dial. Shane was doing it when he was traveling back home, and the signal continues to boom. So you can check us out on there. A lot of you have us locked in on your preset. Some of you might be venturing on over to all the different platforms that we have for streaming. If you have a smart speaker, tell it to tune into ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Check us out on ESPNWichita.com, ESPN Wichita app, where everything is centrally located under one umbrella, which is very handy. Download today on Apple or Android. You can also video stream Facebook, X, YouTube. We are streaming in all those places. Go and check us out on there and drop a comment or two. Would love to hear your thoughts on there as well. I'm Pat Strathman. Jack Johnson is producing. Pick up the phone and dial 316-669-4996 if you dare. And if you are going to call, let's keep it PG, shall we? Because the text line today has been all over the place. But I do encourage your text messages. You are allowed to text 316-247-0923. Already right off the bat from two different individuals. Embarrassing was mentioned by one individual. And then the other individual said, season is over. Well, we're setting the tone right off the bat, huh? Text us, 316-247-0923. We are also on social media. If you want to send us a tweet, go to X. If you want to interact on Facebook, you can send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can comment on our social media posts, which a lot of you have already done. And you can also comment on Instagram as well. Here for today, we will talk KU basketball here in the first hour. Although, if you guys text enough, I have a feeling we're not going to get a moment to talk about Kansas basketball here in the first hour. But I thought it was fitting. I know Kansas won, but I thought it was fitting that we should tell you about the not-so-great news for Kansas basketball ahead of the game against Princeton. So I thought let's just keep the vibes rolling here in the first hour, because I know a lot of you are not very happy here for the day, unless you're a Broncos fan, and you're very, very happy. Beats of the week. After that, hour 2, K-State football sleepwalks. Speaking of people unhappy, wow. The amount of K-State fans on the text line when talking about K-State football, that was something. At 3:25, I was happy because the Friends Falcons completed the regular season 11-0 on Saturday as they drubbed St. Mary's 69-3. You'll hear from Terry Harrison in hour 2. And then at the very end of the show, we'll do a Mount Rushmore Monday. Maybe a Mount Rushmore of worst Chiefs losses under Andy Reid or something. I'm sure some of you would gladly partake in that. Mount Rushmore Monday brought to you by Red X Shredding. There you go. It is November 17, 2025. Thanks for being here. I know it's tough to be here on a day like today. A lot of you continuing to use the text line. My goodness gracious. The Chiefs, they have to win out to be in the playoffs. Adam, who is a Dolphins fan, I love how cool, calm, and composed Chiefs fans are today. Let's talk about the game, shall we? Let's cover the game from all angles. Brought to you by Conradi Insurance Group. When life throws the unexpected your way, Conradi Insurance is there, covering all angles. From home and auto to business and beyond, they have you protected. Visit ConradiInsurance.com today. That's CONRADE insurance.com. The Chiefs, they do fall to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos pick up their 8th consecutive win. They're now 9-2, and you can kiss the division championship goodbye there for the Kansas City Chiefs. That win, to me, pretty much seals it up there for the Denver Broncos. So now you're hoping to get into the playoffs. Right now, sitting at 5-5. And a lot of you would say that the Chiefs aren't going to be in the playoffs this year. But the Chiefs, they fall at the horn, losing to the Denver Broncos in Denver, 22-19. And some of the same problems that we've seen from the Chiefs continue to pop up in a big game. A game that we talked about extensively last week. Basically labeling the game as a must-win for the Kansas City Chiefs if they want to win the AFC West. But now the dominant run pretty much over. And now you have the Chiefs hoping to get into the postseason. And the Chiefs, I thought that maybe after the Travis Kelce touchdown, that here we go. The Chiefs are going to find a way to get the job done. But the Kansas City Chiefs, when it mattered most, the offense had opportunities. The defense had opportunities. The special teams had opportunities. And the Chiefs faltered in the final period. Give credit to the Broncos, obviously. Bo Nix was able to capitalize. But mercy, the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that had this ridiculous streak of winning one-score games. The Chiefs are now 0-5 this year in one-score affairs. Just goes to show you how reality can just punch you right in the gut. Because the Broncos, I bet you Broncos fans last year saying the same thing. Look at all the one-score losses that we've had. And now this year, they are winning those one-score games. They are executing in the clutch, which has not been the case for the Kansas City Chiefs. Where do you even start with this one? I think it starts, well, heck, you can go at the very top with Andy Reid, I suppose. Start with Andy Reid and Matt Nagy, and at times Steve Spagnuolo. But it continues to amaze me what the Chiefs choose to do as an offense on third down calls. When you have Kareem Hunt, who is almost always a guarantee of a first down in 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2 situations, you decide to change it up by running a pass to Brashard Smith. Or you get too cute, which is something that the Chiefs have done for many, many years now. What's even worse is in this situation, you had an extra week to prepare for the Denver Broncos, and you failed to really be prepared in this one. The Chiefs didn't really have any unique wrinkles to really catch the Broncos flat-footed. Although there at the beginning of the game, you saw Kansas City take a couple deep shots there with Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes was unable to complete those big shots down the field. I feel like him and Xavier Worthy on passes that are, 30-plus yards, 20-plus yards through the air. It feels like him and Xavier Worthy haven't been able to connect on a regular basis. And that is a problem there. Because if you're Patrick Mahomes, you finally get those deep shots, you better capitalize. And that has not been the case. But there you are, 3-point lead in the fourth quarter. And then again in a tied game. What do you do with those two drives when it matters most? The Chiefs go 3 and out. They go 3 and out. And that magic that Kansas City once had in the fourth quarter, it is gone. They don't have that magic anymore. And to take that a step further, Patrick Mahomes has completed 44.7% of his passes when tied or trailing in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs rank dead last in the NFL in that stat. Let that sink in for a moment. Patrick Mahomes has completed 44.7% of his passes when tied or trailing in the fourth quarter. And the Chiefs are dead last in the NFL in that stat. What's even more impressive is the Chiefs still had a chance to win the football game. Still had a chance to do it. Your defense has an opportunity. And I love how the TV broadcast was trying to point out, like Jalen Watson on that one play. Well, yeah, Jalen Watson didn't know who he was covering. No, it was a false start. They missed it. It is what it is. You still can't give it up. The Broncos had a 3rd and long, and Bo Nix was able to deliver the Cortland Sutton to move the chains. And it felt like after that moment happened, okay, the Chiefs aren't going to win this football game. It didn't feel like that was going to be the case. And it's strange to sit here today and say that Bo Nix outplayed Patrick Mahomes, but that was the truth. Bo Nix was 24 of 37 for 295. He played winning football, though. Didn't have a passing or rushing touchdown, but he played winning football. In the fourth quarter, 3rd and 15, overcoming a penalty, finding Cortland Sutton for a 20-yard gain. 3rd and 8, several plays later, finds Sutton again for 8.5 to get the first down. And then you have the 30-plus yard gain that helped set up the game-winning field goal to allow the Broncos go to 9-2 going into the bye week. At times, if you're trying to look for positives here for the Chiefs, I don't want to sit here and be that type of guy because I know none of you want that talk right now. But Travis Kelce, it felt like he turned the clock back a little bit, which is great. And defensively, I thought the pass rush there for the first 3 quarters, it seemed like it was the best it's been. And then it just all went away there in the fourth quarter because no one's going to care about the in-between moments. It's all about, can you finish the job and get the win? When the game is on the line, you would say, all right, the Chiefs are up by 3. Here you go, Patrick. Go win it now. All right, tied game. Patrick Mahomes has the ball. He's going to go down the football field and score here. It's going to happen. That has not been the case this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's something. Truly is. Oh, and the special teams. Don't even get me started on the special teams. That's the most frustrating part about the Chiefs, in my opinion. Like, we can sit here and argue about the 3rd downs and what Kansas City hasn't been able to do this year. We can question some other things as well. But my goodness gracious, that special teams performance as a whole. You get an opportunity to potentially block a punt. You don't do it. I believe it was Jack Cochran who had the opportunity to do it, whose number has been called a lot on penalties for returns for the Kansas City Chiefs. You have a chance to go up by 4, and you see the PAT be blocked, which that should have been better. The special teams as a whole just continues to crumble for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the other aspect is, too, the Kansas City Chiefs without Isaiah Pacheco felt like they're in the fourth quarter. There was just really no attempt to even run the football. I know what Jack's going to say. Well, this is why you go out there and get yourself a tailback so you can do something. And the Chiefs just abandoned the run. Just basically looked at Patrick Mahomes and said, all right, we're just going to throw the football 80 times in this football game. And Patrick Mahomes definitely threw the football a ton. There are a couple of big drops by Rashee Rice, who's your best receiver. Got to be the one to come down with some catches. Travis Kelce had a couple of bobbles, but he was able to make up for it there in the final period and allowed himself to get into the end zone to where now he has a record surpassing Priest Holmes. So kudos to him. But yet you sit here looking at a Chiefs team that is 5-5, 0-5 in one-score games, and they're currently in the hunt, as they say, for a postseason spot. And here's the other reality, too. You have the Colts coming up. The Jacksonville Jags have the tiebreaker over you. You better handle your business against the Chargers, because that's going to be an important game. The Texans, although banged up, their defense is playing great. The Ravens are now nipping at your heels a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, there's this intense pressure. And this is a Kansas City Chiefs team over the last couple of years. You hear Matt Derrick all the time say, it doesn't matter in the regular season. Doesn't matter. They can coast. They'll be fine. The ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl, which is great. You can think that way sometimes, I suppose, when you are really that good. It's not the case anymore for the Chiefs. And now the word urgency better be used there in that building, because the urgency has to be at an all-time high for the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes being the quarterback. Just a lot of mistakes out there for the Chiefs. And it's a loss, a team loss, not just by one individual. It's a full team loss there for the Chiefs as they lose to the Denver Broncos. Jack, before I get your thoughts, the text line is going off, as you might envision, 316-247-0923. I know one individual continues to talk about the Chiefs wide receivers group, no deep threat, no consistent player. Listen, Patrick Mahomes had a couple of deep shots that he should have hit. Is that on the wide receiver? Is that on the quarterback? I'm going to tell you right now, that's on Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has to put the ball on the money, and he didn't. Didn't happen. Another individual saying, I believe the word you're looking for is choke. That seems pretty harsh. They always abandon the run. It is a game that Kansas City led by, or was going into the game favored by 3.5. So you had a 3-point lead, tied game. So if you want to use the word choke, okay, that's fine. Keep the text rolling. Get your frustrations out, I suppose. We'll let you do that on the text line. 316-247-0923. Jack, I don't even know where you begin with this one. I think to me, what's incredible is you had a bye week, a full week to prepare for the Denver Broncos, an extra week to really get ready for it. And the Chiefs flat out fell on their face, which, boy, that is an indication of just what the rest of the season could be like. Not saying they're done yet, but now there is much more pressure on the next 7 games, and it feels like you almost have to go 6-1 in order to get into the postseason. We can talk more about this tomorrow as I dive deeper into schedules and potential tiebreakers, so on and so forth. But where do you start with this one? Who is most to blame for this loss there in Denver versus the Broncos yesterday?
Well, I think after a loss like this, you certainly want to point the finger at a lot of people here, because this was a team loss, and I thought the offense was putrid. I thought the defense was really poor, and I thought the coaching was arguably the worst part of this game. There's just too many times that this team tries to get cute. They try to overthink things, and I honestly view it as a way of kind of having that ego of we are the most explosive offense, and we've got the best quarterback, and no matter how good your defense is, we're always a step ahead of you. And Denver clearly had a great game plan for this one, and they knew how to slow down the Chiefs' offense, and it got them rattled. It got Patrick Mahomes rattled. It got the receivers rattled. And the only guy I thought that played well in this game was Travis Kelce. Everybody else I thought played their C-plus game or worse, and that's not a knock on Denver whatsoever. Denver made them play poorly. They did have a good script. They did have a good game plan, and the Chiefs were not prepared from this one. And to hear yet again after another one-score loss in which they're 0-5 this season, to hear the head coach say, yeah, we got to clean some things up. We got to be better. I got to be better. Well, why is that the case? Why are we 10 games into the season and we're still saying the same thing over and over and over again? It gets annoying at some point. It gets repetitive, and nobody believes you when you just keep saying, well, we're going to get better. We're going to clean some things up. You had a bye week. Yeah, we're going to fix it. It's stupid to hear that, because you had a division rival game in their place, knowing that you needed to have this one to have a shot at winning the AFC West. And yeah, I'm sure they still have confidence they're going to make the postseason, but I don't see any sense of urgency from this football team. You hear them speak in the postgame afterwards. None of them seem like that loss impacted them at all. And sure, it's fine to have a level head and not get too high and not get too low. But after a game like that, coming off a bye week, you have a turnover, you have 10 penalties, you abandon the run, you make boneheaded plays late. I would like to hear more than just, we got to get back out there and work hard in practice and find a way to beat the Colts. And, when you're winning a lot of games, when you're 9-2 like Denver is, when you've had seasons in the past where you have been so successful, it's okay to hear that of, they got us that game. They were better than us. We got outcoached. We got to get back to the drawing board. This is the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career post-week 5 or 6, they're in danger of not making the postseason.
Yeah.
Now, whether you believe they'll miss it or not, they're 5-5, trailing a couple teams by a few games in the AFC wildcard race. And that's the only way they're getting in is the wild card. And if this version of this team is going to the postseason, I don't care how they look, late in the season. They're getting bounced in the first game. Like, there's no way around it. They have this version of this team in January. They're not making any deep run, not having some heroic run by Patrick Mahomes. They're just flat out not going to be good enough. And I would just like to see a little bit more urgency where now you're 5-5. I mean, how many more losses are you going to go? Well, if they lose on Sunday, we know what we're going to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you tip your cap to the Colts. We just weren't ready to go in this one. We just weren't good enough. We missed too many opportunities. Well, why is that the case? It's one thing to hear this from the Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets. You're a team that's been in the Super Bowl 5 of the last 6 years, and it's not that it's always going to be Super Bowl or bust. There are going to be teams that are not as talented as some of those Super Bowl winning teams. But in the regular season, stop treating it like it's just your tune-up for the postseason, because as of right now, you're not going to be playing in January. You're going to be watching everybody else, and I stand by the fact this is still one of the weaker AFC playoff fields Patrick Mahomes has ever seen, but that also includes them. This is probably the weakest version that he's had in his time since taking over as quarterback for Kansas City.
It's funny you bring that up. You want to know what the Chiefs' record is against current teams in the AFC playoff picture right now for the
Do
Chiefs?
they even have a win against one?
They're 0-4. They're 0-4 against teams in the AFC playoff picture. 0-4. Yeah. Which is why you bring up it's the weakest. Yeah, it is in theory on paper. And the Chiefs haven't been able to win, which is just nuts when you think about it. They don't have a win. I just think it's incredible that this fourth quarter magic that Patrick Mahomes has had for so long since he's been in the NFL. And that magic now, there is no one out there fearing the Chiefs in the fourth quarter when the Chiefs are down by 3 or they're down by 6 or even the Chiefs are up by 10. That sort of mindset of, well, crap. Patrick Mahomes has the ball, and Kansas City's going to go down there and score. Yeah, that's no longer a thing anymore for the Chiefs. 44.7% of his passes completed in the fourth quarter, which is dead last in the NFL. Meanwhile, Bo Nix might not be great in the first 3 quarters, but by golly, when it's the fourth, he delivers. And Patrick Mahomes needs to find a way to get back to that. The one interception that he had, just so dumb to make that type of a decision in that moment. You got to pocket that there, Patrick, or throw it away because you're in field goal position. Just take the field goal. Just take the field goal. Call it good. But yeah, the Chiefs, they're 5-5. When are they when will they start playing with some urgency? Because last year, it's one that we kept hearing. Don't worry about it. They're not blowing anyone out. They're winning games. That's fine. That's okay. It's okay. It's fine. The ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl. Well, they didn't win the Super Bowl. They got waxed in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. And this year, it's been almost the same type of mentality of it's fine. Just get to the postseason and we'll figure it out. Well, can't do that no more. Can't do that anymore. Now it's go time. And 6-1 certainly feels like the record they're going to have. 316-247-0923 has everyone, rightfully so, put Pat on too high of a pedestal. Thank you, Stephen. Always good to hear from you. Listen, Patrick Mahomes did stuff that no one has done. I mean, I think the issue that I would probably throw out there, Steven, is maybe there's too much belief in saying, all right, well, when the going gets tough, Patrick Mahomes might not have some certain things around him. So we'll just let Patrick Mahomes just come to life in the fourth quarter and he'll save us. He'll just save us. Maybe you can make that argument. I think that's kind of where I would go more so than anything else. And here we are sitting today with the Kansas City Chiefs and the offense that they have, and you do got to give credit to the Denver Broncos defense. I thought they had some guys really step up. I thought for the most part, offensive line-wise for the Chiefs for a little bit with Josh Simmons coming in for the first time, I thought they held their own for the most part until the penalties really started to fly, and then that's when things completely changed. I shouldn't say the offensive line as a whole because Jawan Taylor is still Jawan Taylor. Josh Simmons there toward the end got worn down. So I guess I should backtrack a little bit. But when the going got tough, you need those guys to be good, and I don't think they were all that great. But I also think that Patrick Mahomes also doesn't help himself. But what's the real excuse for this Chiefs offense now? Because you have all the people out there minus Isaiah Pacheco. You have Rashee Rice. You have Worthy. You have Juju Smith-Schuster. You have Hollywood Brown. You have Travis Kelce. You have all the pieces in place minus Isaiah Pacheco. But you have all the pieces in place, and yet you still see the offense struggle. I would say that's more so because what the Broncos were able to do, but we thought for a moment when the offense got fully healthy, here you go, they're finally going to turn the corner, and it's still an offense that has just been stuck in a rut. 316-247-0923. Now, I'm not sure whether it's overconfidence in themselves or just a lack of enthusiasm, but the Chiefs have got to change something. Oh, see, and that's what I mean. It's the urgency. It's what it is. I feel like they got pretty used to the way that things have gone, and now this year, it's a different year, and when you get complacent and you think you can do the same thing over and over again, what's the definition of insanity? Doing something over and over again, expecting the same result. Like this year, I think you can make that argument saying that this is a Chiefs team that thought we could just get to the postseason, we just coast and no big deal. Well, now there better be a sense of urgency moving forward for this Chiefs team. It would be nice to have Eric Bieniemy back. I don't know if that would really be the number one way to change this team. I know everyone wants to put blame on Matt Nagy. I still think it belongs to Andy Reid, though, at the very, very top. I still think that is the problem. Andy Reid is the one who needs to be better as a play caller. Like, for sure, he's still the GOAT, but maybe his athleticism dropping down the QB ability. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Steven. And that's the thing that we have noted about Patrick Mahomes, is that the older he gets, the less athletic he's really going to be. He's going to lose that ability to scramble and get out of dicey situations with his legs. He's not going to be able to do that always. He's not going to be able to have the cannon of an arm and bomb it down the field, which is why you have to adapt to something like that. And if this season doesn't change that within the Chiefs organization, then I don't know what will. But that's going to be the other thing, too. Once you get to the offseason, what kind of changes are going to be made with this Chiefs team? Changes need to happen now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say fast forward to the end of the season, season's over. You all might think that. I still think there's a path there. The Chiefs, if you go look at who's got the best odds to go out there and win the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are still number 2 at plus 750. So it's not like the gamblers are really predicting something otherwise. This is still a Chiefs team that can make it to the playoffs. Can they make it to the Super Bowl? Well, that's a whole nother question, I feel like. But if you do look forward, though, like in terms of what's going to happen in the offseason, they're going to have some interesting decisions to make. And it could force their hand into changing drastically because they need a lot of help across the board. Now, you hope that help across the board comes in the form of guys getting better this year. So far, Jamari Conner hasn't been all that great. Jalen Watson hasn't been that great of a number 2 corner. Still would question the safeties. You're getting little from your running back room. There's a lot of improvement that needs to be made with this year's edition of the Kansas City Chiefs. 316-247-0923. Should have traded for a running back at the trade deadline, picked up a defensive lineman. I think Jack Johnson would agree with you there. And Father Time, am I right? Yeah, and that's the other thing too. When you get older, just the way it goes. Any decent free agents out there? I don't know. One guy, Colin Saunders, seemed like that he was en route to maybe join the Chiefs, but I don't know what Colin Saunders is really going to do to change things up front for the Chiefs. That's just my opinion. Okay, 316-247-0923. Keep the text messages rolling in. You guys are on fire today, and can't say I blame you, I suppose, based on what we saw yesterday with the Chiefs and the Broncos. But you can kiss the AFC West title goodbye. Now it's all about, can you play well enough to get yourself into the postseason? Well, I talked about how we were going to do a KU basketball talk, but right now I think we need a break. When we come back, continue to voice your frustrations about the Chiefs on the text line. We'll move KU talk and combine it with K-State football in hour number 2. We do have to get to our sweet play of the game, brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. So we will feature that when we return. Keep the text messages rolling at 316-247-0923. When we return, our sweet play of the game, brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. That's coming your way next.
The heartbeat
Yes,
of
sir.
Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
What's up, Wichita? This Thanksgiving morning, before the turkey goes in the oven, gather your friends, your family, and your running shoes, because Wichita's favorite holiday tradition is back. Grace Med's Say Grace Thanksgiving Day 5K race. Run, jog, or walk through Midtown Wichita and kick off the holiday with joy, gratitude, and community spirit. Whether you're a seasoned runner chasing a personal best or just out for a stroll with the kids in the stroller, Say Grace is for everyone. And here's what makes it even more meaningful. Every step you take helps Grace Med Health Clinic provide affordable health care to families across Kansas. So while you're giving thanks at the table, you'll know you've given back as well. Start your Thanksgiving day with something that feels good, does good, and makes room for that second slice of pie. Register today for the Say Grace Thanksgiving Day 5K presented by Strathman and ESPN Wichita. Visit SayGraceRace.com. That's SayGraceRace.com, because health, hope, and healing start with grace.
Hey, AK, it's me, TK.
What's up, TK? It's me, AK, Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. Travis, if you could tell people how to support your charity, what would you say?
Grab my 87 and running concrete at Andy's.
87 and Running is such a wonderful charity that we create a special treat just for the cause. It has the world's finest vanilla frozen custard, Oreos, cookie dough, caramel, and the best part, a portion of the proceeds from everyone sold helps 87 and Running.
It's a cool way to support our vulnerable youth in Kansas City and beyond.
Hi, this is Blake Davis with Davis Liquor Outlet. For 50 years and 3 generations of the Davis family, we've been so proud to call Wichita our home. This holiday season, let us help you celebrate. Come browse our selection from bourbon and tequilas to wine and THC beverages, non-alcoholic offerings, and everything in between. Remember, you can save 20% every day when you buy liquor and wine by the case. Want even more savings? Visit DavisLiquorOutlet.com and sign up for our monthly coupons. Plus, don't forget to download our app and order right from your phone. Davis Liquor Outlet, neighborhood locations with superstore pricing. Each store independently owned and operated.
Listen up, soccer fans. Visit Wichita is excited to bring the NJCAA Division II Men's and Women's Soccer National Championships to Wichita this November. Witness the best junior college teams from around the country compete November 16th through the 22nd at Shields Stryker Sports Complex. You'll see high-quality, fast-paced soccer that is fun for the whole family. For tickets, go to visitwichita.com/get-tickets. That's visitwichita.com/get-tickets.
Caring for aging parents can feel like a second full-time job. Kansas PACE eases the burden by taking care of all your parents' medical needs, including dental, vision, and hearing. And Kansas PACE does the driving to appointments, even provides help at home with reliable home care aides. Their welcoming PACE centers add social activities and a safe place your parent will look forward to. While they receive expert, compassionate care, you can focus on your own family, work, and life without guilt. Kansas PACE is your partner in caregiving. See how they can help your family today at kansaspace.org.
We don't do ordinary at Occidental Management. We pride ourselves on going beyond the typical commercial real estate relationship.
At Body Bar Pilates, we combine strength and stability in an energizing reformer-based workout that transforms your body and mind. It's not just Pilates, it's your daily dose of power and confidence. Occidental Management truly cared about our business and our success, going above and beyond to support our vision.
Learn more at bodybarpilates.com or call 316-494-0413.
I don't know how many people are really grooving here today. I did see someone earlier today rocking a Broncos shirt or a sweatshirt. And of course, I said, of all days, of course you wear that. And he goes, of course I'm wearing it. Yeah, Broncos fans, you have every right to celebrate today after that loss there for the Chiefs as the Broncos get the win. Continuing to look at the text line, 316-247-0923. Nagy needs to go. I get what everyone's saying. I guess when the offense is bad, rather than it being the head coach, you got to eliminate someone. But look, Andy Reid is going to be the dude until he can't go anymore. I think I see our boy Trace, talking about just how bad of a weekend it was from a football perspective. And someone, I think, hit the nail on the head here, and that is no reason to trade for a running back because Andy's not going to be able to use him anyways. And that's really where I'm at. Probably with it because they just always abandon the run. The Chiefs do. They just always abandon it. There are moments where you think that, hey, 3rd and 2, here you go. It's going to run the football. Nope, it's going to be something else. And that's why it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I think there's, like we talked about with Steven earlier, and that is there's just a lot of belief there in Patrick Mahomes just to do the thing. Kareem Hunt averaged 4.5 yards a carry yesterday, but he carried the ball just 13 times. I don't know if it was said after the game. I'm trying to think. I don't know if anyone said anything about Kareem Hunt. It looked like he was battling something throughout the game. But Kareem Hunt, when he did get the ball, 4.5 yards per carry, not bad. But the Chiefs only ran 62 times. And here's the other thing, too. Mahomes, as much as we've talked about Patrick Mahomes and his ability to scramble and how effective it can be, had just 1 carry for 3 yards. That was it. Now, the Broncos had something to deal with that, too. And I think it was Chris Jones yesterday, just to go show you how the Chiefs didn't really plan all that great. And you hear me putting blame on the offense and blame on the special teams in the defense with Steve Spagnuolo. At times, it was okay. But there on the long 3rd down play, the Broncos pointed out exactly what the Chiefs were going to do, and the end result is being a 1st down for the Chiefs. Chris Jones said that in the postgame yesterday, and that is not a great look there for the Kansas City Chiefs, especially coming off a bye. Truly incredible. Travis Kelce ended up with 9 grabs for 91 yards and a touchdown. He had 13 targets. In case you're wondering about Rashee Rice, he had 6 catches for 38 yards. His longest was 11. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes go deep a couple times. He hit on one of them, a 61-yard grab by Tyquan Thornton, one of 2 targets that he had. But Xavier Worthy had 3 for 25. Just not a lot of explosiveness there for the Chiefs offense. So we do have to pick our sweet play of the game, even if it is a loss. We've still got to pick it, and we do have audio for it as well. Our sweet play of the game brought to you by Annie's Frozen Custard. Stop by Annie's Frozen Custard, grab an 87 concrete, and help Travis's 87 and running foundation with every purchase. Do good while eating deliciousness. Andy's top your day with a smile. The sweet play of the game. Jack Johnson, do you mind playing it?
3rd and 6. There's the pass. Caught, breaking the tackles, Kelsey, and Travis takes it to the end zone. What an effort by Travis Kelsey. He sets the Chiefs' all-time touchdown record with that effort.
He's never not shown up in big moments. And boys, he's shown up today. He looks sprightly and young. And watch Travis Kelsey, all-out pressure, and right there, Hufanga does not miss many tackles, but no one was tackling Kelsey on that play. Times of old right there.
And that is our sweet play of the game, brought to you by Annie's Frozen Custard. Of course, that was CBS. You heard Tony Romo. You heard Jim Nantz. Travis Kelsey had that touchdown grab. At the moment, felt like Kansas City would find a way to eke one out. After that touchdown, though, what happens? A blocked PAT, and the Chiefs just had a 3-point lead, had 2 chances to get the job done, but 2 3-and-outs, one when the Chiefs were up by 3, the other when the game was tied, and the Chiefs end up falling to the Broncos 22-19. Travis Kelsey finishes with 91 receiving yards and a touchdown, 13 targets. Yeah, he was fed quite a bit. And here for the year, I was thinking that Travis Kelsey want to get to 1,000 in what could be his final season in the National Football League. Right now, he's got 631, has 4 receiving touchdowns. And I thought that touchdown was going to be the game changer. Didn't happen. And speaking of which, the text line, one texter just pointed that out. I really thought Travis Kelsey's touchdown would be a momentum changer for the Chiefs, but no. And there are a lot of things to blame in this game. A lot of things to go back and look at. I'm seeing some more screenshots after the fact. Jack, I think I heard you talking about a wheel route for Brashard Smith on a 3rd down. What's crazy about that one is, too, and I'm with you, I don't know why you're making that call, especially for a rookie like that. But if Brashard Smith would have just flattened out and stopped, I think it still would have been okay if Mahomes would have threw it sooner. But obviously that didn't happen. And there are multiple moments to go back and watch and point out, look how bad this is, look how bad that is. Just the game overall was just a slow burn because that first half was borderline unwatchable with all the penalties. And what's crazy about this is, too, the Broncos are the ones celebrating a win, and they had over 140 yards in penalties in this football game. Over 140 yards of penalties. Now, one penalty alone was worth a boatload of yards on a defensive PI down the football field. But 147 yards in penalties for the Denver Broncos. And yet they're the ones who won 22-19. Isn't that crazy? When you think about that, 147 yards in penalties. And yet the Broncos are the ones who are celebrating a victory here today. That's absurd. And that's just part of the craziness with the game yesterday. So, yeah, lots and lots of fun in that game yesterday. All right, Chiefs fans, we will talk more about the Chiefs tomorrow. Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com will join the show at 2:25, brought to you by Shaymark Roofing and Construction. So we'll get his thoughts on how things went yesterday. What does he think about the Chiefs moving forward? What do they have to clean up? Answer, everything. What's the reason to why the magic is no longer there for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense? We have a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow. We will also take a look at some of the schedules as well for the Chiefs, in addition to their schedule, but also take a look at the schedule of other teams to see what the path is going to be like there for the Chiefs. Because coming up, they have the Colts, arguably the best team in the NFL. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but you know what I'm saying. The Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. Boy, if you thought the Broncos defense was good, you have the Texans defense. You have to deal with that. Then you have the Chargers. You go to Nashville to take on the Titans. You have the Broncos at home and what is a must-win on Christmas Day. And then you have the Raiders to wrap things up. But right now, the Chiefs are 5-5. Chargers are 7-4. The Broncos are 9-2. An uphill climb for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have quite the battle ahead of them. Dug themselves in a hole. And now we'll see if they can play with a sense of urgency. I still think this is a team that can make it to the postseason. I think it would be intriguing to see the Chiefs be a 7 seed in the AFC. I have a feeling most teams wouldn't want to face the Chiefs, but I keep hearing that. But once again, it's the Chiefs, and you've seen what they've done. What's so scary about them? If the fourth quarter magic isn't there, what's so scary about the Chiefs? We'll see how they respond coming up this weekend when the Chiefs take on the Indianapolis Colts. All right, we'll break. When we return, we'll do our Beast of the Week to wrap up hour number 1. More of the poll straight ahead.
The heartbeat of Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Toppers Plus Truck and RV, your RV headquarters, now offers Rhino Linings Eco Coat, a spray-on roof lining to protect your RV from daily wear. It's 100% seamless, won't crack or peel, UV resistant, lasts 3 times longer than a rubber roof with a Toppers Plus lifetime leak-free guarantee. Shop in-stock accessories including sewer and electrical items, freshwater hoses, stabilizing kits, lock kits, AC filter parts, and RV decor. Get your free RV roof inspection at Toppers Plus Truck and RV, 333 Northwest Street or toppersplusks.com.
Make your truck work for you! When it comes to money, what matters most to you? It's not an easy question because your answer can change at a moment's notice. At Commerce Bank, we have 160 years of helping people ask themselves that question and providing financial solutions that are tailored to your ever-changing wants and needs. From setting short-term goals to planning for your future, if it matters to you, it matters to us. And together, we'll find the answers that matter. Commerce Bank. Challenge accepted. Member FDIC.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
This November, the spotlight's on you at Rock and Bruce Casino, I-35 exit 231 in Bremen. It's the Rock and Choose Grand Finale. Earn entries all month for your chance to pick an incredible prize. Imagine paying your bills for a year, jetting off to Paris, scoring $10,000 cash, or riding away with a Z530R Z-Track mower. 4 winners will be announced at 10 p.m. on November 29th. Don't wait. Get in the game at Rock and Bruce Casino, I-35 exit 231 in Bremen. Rock and Bruce Casino. Eat, win, rock on. Owned by the Caw Nation.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Obviously, it's going to be tough to get back in the division race, but at the end of the day, all of the goal is to get into the playoffs and try to make a run at it. And you got to learn from this one as much as possible. Knowing that we're going to get a great opponent going into Arrowhead this next week. Kind of at that point, we're going to find a way to win football games and kind of keep moving forward. That's what this league's all about.
Wichita's home for Chiefs coverage. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Welcome back. Hour number 1. Almost done. It's been a fun show. Okay, maybe it hasn't been for some individuals. But now we can move on. No more Chiefs talk in hour number 2. After this, we are done. We can talk about the Chiefs tomorrow with Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. We do have KU basketball and K-State football to talk about. I have a feeling no one really too pleased about both of those things either, for that matter. 325, Terry Harrison, head football coach of the French Falcons. He'll join us. And then to wrap things up, we'll do a Mount Rushmore Monday, brought to you by Red X Shredding. As we always do, we do our Beast of the Week to wrap things up here in hour number one. And I got to say, I'll probably just go with high school football because you have the Derby Panthers, who have been so good for so many years. The Derby Panthers matched up with Northwest on Friday. Northwest having a terrific season. You have the two teams meeting in the postseason for the first time since 2017. And the Derby Panthers just rolled. 63-21 being the final in the sectional round in the Class 6A bracket. And now Derby is set to link up with Manhattan. I'm sure Chance is hard at work trying to figure out the athletes of the week. Wouldn't be surprised if he doubles down on the Derby Panthers. He also could double down on the Cape Ann Crusaders, who, by the way, Cape Ann is looking like an unstoppable team at this point. As the Cape Ann Crusaders, they blanked Wellington 64-0. It's been absurd, to say the least. The Cape Ann Crusaders have not been touched. They put 60 points on the board or more in their first 3 games here in the postseason. I have a feeling it might be a little bit tougher when Cape Ann takes on Wamego coming up on Friday. That will be our high school football game of the week presented by Commerce Bank. Augusta and Wamego was a close game. Wamego got the win 21-14 to set up the showdown with Cape Ann. We'll see if Cape Ann gets challenged or if the Crusaders just cruise to the state championship game where they will face the winner of Lebec County and Bishop Miege. But I think we all know that Bishop Miege is awfully good every single year. So I'll give our Beast of the Week. I would split it there with Cape Ann and Derby. Let's go ahead and do that. Just make it easy. Derby and Cape Ann, my Beast of the Week. Wouldn't be surprised if we hear from some individuals on those football teams later on this week when we do our High School Athletes of the Week. Brought to you by Distinct Inc. and Great Clips. Jack, I left the door open for you to choose Cameron Boozer pouring in 35. I'm sure you just want to go with a Duke Blue Devil.
I can't do that. Yeah, I can't give it to a Duke Blue Devil, and I don't care. If he put up 70 points, I can't do it the day before a big game between KU and Duke. But I will actually pick a arch nemesis and a rival in the NFL, and that would be Josh Allen. Who, if you had him in fantasy, I'm sure you probably won your game because in my league, he put up 45 points due to his 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. Bills won a shootout against Tampa Bay 44-32. Yes, he had 2 boneheaded turnovers, but see, that's just kind of what you take Josh Allen for is, yeah, he might have one really weird mistake, but he's also going to follow it up with putting together maybe a 6-touchdown type of game. And that was one that we were up in the air about of who was going to win. We knew Tampa Bay was banged up, still had a lot of playmakers, but that was a huge one for Buffalo coming off their loss to Miami as they hang 44 on the Buccaneers. And now they're still in a wild card spot because New England is 9-2. But kind of like a lot of teams in the AFC playoff picture, I'm not sure anybody wants to face Buffalo as a wild card team in that divisional round weekend.
Yeah, it's the same thing as what we brought up with the Chiefs. And yeah, with Josh Allen, it's amazing because the only highlight that I remember, because yesterday I had to munch some leaves. I had to do some yard work because the leaves are just getting out of control. And I still have to do the front yard, which, yay, can't wait. Won't be able to do it today. Hopefully I'll be able to sneak it in before it really gets cold. But the only highlight that I saw for the Bills was just that horrific interception that Josh Allen threw. And it's like, oh, it's brutal. And then you go and look at the final score. Oh, Josh Allen still did that, huh? And that's kind of the beauty of Josh Allen. And it is the beauty of Josh Allen. You might have some boneheaded plays, but boy, does he find a way to make up for it. And he allowed his team to get a big-time win yesterday there for the Buffalo Bills. All right, there you go, our Beast of the Week. Coming up in hour number 2, I doubt we'll choose anyone that was really beastly, I suppose. Maybe we will for KU basketball, but even then, though, there for a little bit, it didn't look all that great there in the Princeton game. But the biggest thing that we're still focusing on is Darren Peterson and what's going on there. We'll tell you more about that in hour number 2. K-State football, yeesh. That was, I want to talk about a slow burn. Yikes. Hey, the Wildcats got a win in Stillwater. You want to celebrate, but also someone burned the tape because that was less than stellar. We'll talk about those two things to open up the second hour. Terry Harrison joins us at 3:25. At the very end, we'll wrap things up in the Mount Rushmore Monday. Hour 2, straight ahead.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton.
Pay heed, all who enter.
A swat on one end, a poster on the other. What a sequence.
Join the Jayhawks all season on the hardwood.
He hit it from way downtown.
The legacy continues right here on your home for Kansas Jayhawk basketball.
Tuesday, tune in to hear live coverage of Kansas and Duke in the Champions Classic. Coverage begins at 8 on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Yellowstone. The epic ranching drama is now a Kansas Lottery scratch ticket and your ticket to experiences you can't get anywhere else. Top prize of $25,000 plus second chance drawings that let you live the show. Attend a premiere or visit the set. But know what you're getting into. Just kidding. This is a game, not the show. Play Yellowstone. See KSLottery.com for details.
Hey, it's Jeff from American Shaman. People ask, how are you still here? We're here because we believe life is beautiful, we believe in wellness and natural solutions, and we believe your life is better with the feather. If you agree, come see us at American Shaman in Wichita and Derby and online at yourcbd.pro.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400-horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Ariya that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Ariya and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Ariya.
Nachos! Yeah, your nachos!
Hey, I'll take some.
Great. And some Frank's Red Hot.
Oh, nah, I'm good.
Oh, you're just going to eat these dry, plain, boring nachos with no Franks. Oh, seriously? Frank it up. Frank it up. Come on, lady. Frank it up. Frank it up. Frank it up. Yeah! Yeah, this guy finally gets it. Hey, look, we're on the Jumbotron.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Whether you're hosting the big game, tailgating with friends, or just
and you'll have Kansas Pace after this first segment.
Spirits and Auburn Wine and Spirits have everything you need. Stock up on ice cold beer, your favorite spirits and wines that will make every kickoff, touchdown, and victory taste even better. Make Auburn Spirits at 135th
I heard you.
Maple
Just sat down,
Auburn
sorry.
Wine and Spirits at 320 North Rock.
No worries.
Your game day headquarters. Auburn Spirits and Auburn Wine and Spirits, where your winning season begins. Celebrate local with Auburn and visit us at auburnspirits.com.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Ed Bankman. We start with NFL injury news. In Atlanta, the Falcons may be without quarterback Michael Penix Jr. for the rest of the season, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. The second-year quarterback is expected to be out the remainder of the year after suffering a knee injury. Another team dealing with a quarterback injury is Pittsburgh, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. There's concern Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers may have suffered a break in his left wrist. Also, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Eagles offensive lineman Lane Johnson has a Liz Frank injury. which could land him on injury reserve. Meanwhile, the Texans are waiting to see if quarterback C.J. Stroud will be able to clear concussion protocol. Coach D'Amico Ryan says they need to make sure Stroud is ready before they put him back on the field.
Yeah, we're hopeful for CJ to get back healthy. That's the first thing and the most important thing. And for me and my spot, I just have to deal with it based on when they pass the steps they need to pass. And if they are available, then being able to see them on the field.
The Texans have a quick turnaround with a Thursday night home game against Buffalo. The Jets have benched Justin Fields in favor of veteran Tyrod Taylor. 49ers kicker Eddie Pinheiro has a hamstring injury. He is week to week. Monday Night Football tonight, the Cowboys visit the Raiders in Vegas.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, the Eagles and the Rams are both 8-2. But who will be number one on my power rankings? Find out at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
It's just a public service announcement, sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Rockefeller Records.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is H to the OV. I used to move snowflakes by the
We're ready to rock and roll for hour number 2 here on this Monday. It is the Pulse on Wichita Sports Leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. In addition to that radio, you could be like Corey, who just stopped on by. Corey was listening on his smartphone. I don't know if he was listening through the app or through ESPNWichita.com or something else, but I appreciate Corey. Corey stopped on by to pick up some lottery tickets. I don't have any lotto tickets to give out for the day. Sorry. You'll have to come back tomorrow and listen for your chance to win Kansas lottery tickets. But shout out Corey. I know he was listening out there, waiting for the commercial break to take place. And regardless, if he was listening on ESPNWichita.com or the app, you should be able to do both just fine. ESPNWichita.com. Listen live in the top right corner. You can check out the app, ESPN Wichita app. There's Corey. What up, Corey? It was the app, Pat. Love it. Love it. Thanks, Corey. Thanks for confirming that. ESPN Wichita app. If you haven't downloaded it, what are you doing? You need to change that because that app has all sorts of goodies on there. Text line number, hotline number, listen to the shows live, podcasts are on there. The app is the place to be. Apple, Android, don't matter. You can listen to ESPN Wichita on there. Check us out on your favorite smart speaker. I actually just upgraded a smart speaker over the weekend. I have a problem when it comes to technology or just tech gear because I always want the tech gear to make everything so much easier. Upgraded one of the smart speakers. Those smart speakers are handy. Tell them to tune into ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM or KKGQ. If you want to check us out from Equity Bank Park, like you can see me right now if you go on over to Facebook, YouTube, or X. We are video streaming in those different places. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Pat Strathman. Producing is the always excellent Jack Johnson, also a good show contributor as well. 316-669-4996. The Chiefs and Broncos game is behind us, y'all. So don't call in to talk about that. But if you want to call and vent on KU basketball or K-State football for that matter, feel free. Give us a call or send us a text. There were a lot of you that texted in regards to the K-State football game. We'll love to hear from you right now at 316-247-0923. Use the text line, which has been crazy busy today. Very active. Gee, I wonder why. Because the Chiefs have lost. They're 5-5, but there are other reasons to be angry as well. It was a great weekend, too, weather-wise, but I feel like no one is happy. I feel like no one is happy today. Not a single person is happy today. Now, I'm happy because Terry Harrison, head football coach of the Friends Falcons, they're number 4 in the country. They drew the number 4 seed for the NAIA playoffs. They ran the table in the regular season, first undefeated regular season since 2008 for the Falcons. Pretty spectacular stuff. He's going to join us in a little bit. At the very end, we'll do a Mount Rushmore Monday. And if you don't want to text or call, use our social media platforms. Facebook, you can send us messages. You can send us tweets. And yes, you can interact on Instagram. Make sure to follow all those different platforms because I understand. I'm real, all right? I understand you're not going to listen to us 24/7. Those that do, I love you. Thanks for doing that. But I understand that y'all are going to be limited. You can stay locked into your favorite teams by following all of our different platforms. Wichita State men's basketball's got a big game coming up tomorrow. We always have clips for post-game coverage. We have weekly press conferences that we go to. Make sure to follow us on social media. Before we talk about KU and K-State, Twin Peaks, let me tell you about the Lodge real quick. So 2 locations in Wichita. If you are an East Sider, head on over to 21st and Rock. If you hang out west, head on over to Ridge and Taft. Patio weather might be okay right now. Happy hour currently going on. You should definitely go to happy hour. If you've had a bad day, let me tell you, a 29-degree man-sized draft will change a lot of things. At least it changes my mood when I have a 29-degree man-sized draft. I highly recommend getting those at Twin Peaks. But they also have plenty of drinks on that adventurous drink menu that is second to none. You heard me talking about Veterans Day and their promotion going on there. And that is if you are or were a veteran or are a veteran, you were able to go there and get yourself a free lunch. But something else they got coming up tomorrow. Sound the alarms. Tomorrow is Customer Appreciation Day at Twin Peaks. And you know how they're saying thanks? Buy one, get one wings all damn day. That's right. Buy one order and get one free. They couldn't do it without you. You show up. They will provide the wings. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and scenic views. Well, I know what I got to do for lunch tomorrow, or dinner for that matter, because buy one, get one wings at Twin Peaks. Yeah, sign me up. One more thing to bring up as well. Next week, Thanksgiving Day, football will be on all their screens there at Twin Peaks because they will be open on Thanksgiving Day for the first time. And I've had people ask me, hey, can you give me more information? What's it looking like? I have a group that's going to go out there. Makes my heart happy to hear that. Get you a group and head on over to Twin Peaks and be a part of the fun over there. They have great food, great atmosphere. They open up at 2 on that day, on Thanksgiving Day, and they will be open until their normal close. So get to it. Hop on over to Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. Where do I start? K-State or Kansas? I guess I'll start with K-State because my goodness gracious. Woof. I already see someone chiming in. It's Corey. Hi, Corey. 316-247-0923. Pitiful game. This season has been a massive failure. Hopefully next year. Hopefully they get something and win some big 12 games. I don't want to repeat all of it there, Corey. These guys need to stay out of Hagerfield and go to the film room. Well, I did pick Oklahoma State to cover this game because I thought 19.5 was a lot of points for a team that hasn't exactly screamed confidence here for the year. Austin Romaine being out for the rest of the year, that also was a sticking point. But man, what a horrible, horrible game. Horrible, horrible game. I don't think anyone's bragging about that win. And listen, going down there and playing in Stillwater, K-State has struggled mightily down there in Stillwater for many, many years now. Many, many years. But the Wildcats at least got the win. All right, monkeys off the back. But, man, that was rough. I caught every single second of that game, and I wish I didn't. And I could tell you one thing. Chance, who's a diehard K-State fan, had his birthday on Saturday. Chance decided not to watch a single second of that game. At least I'm pretty positive that was the case. And he was in the right for doing that. Because, my goodness gracious, I don't even know what kind of positives you can draw from this game if you're a Kansas State fan. Because Oklahoma State, you look at the Cowboys, they put 6 points on the board. Defensively, I guess you can go in that direction. K-State forced 5 turnovers. So I guess, tip of the cap to the Wildcats on the defensive side. Zayshawn Rich had 2 turnovers. Came up with a pick in the first half. Jumped on a loose ball for a fumble recovery. VJ Payne had an important catch in the final play of the first half. Intercepted a pass in the end zone. You had Rex Van Wy getting a fumble recovery that was caused by the K-State defensive line. Daniel Cobbs also had a pick in the fourth quarter. Wildcats got a stop on fourth down in the closing moments as the Cowboys pushed for a late touchdown that could have given them an opportunity to force overtime with a 2-point conversion. K-State turned them away. But even then, though, are you really feeling that great about what you saw on the defensive side of the ball? Because it's Oklahoma State. That was the biggest fear about covering the 19.5 was, can Oklahoma State score 6 points? That was a legit question mark. Can Oklahoma State score a touchdown? I had flashbacks, and I know it ended up being 14-6 in favor of Kansas State, but I was having flashbacks to Kansas and North Dakota State when the final was 6-3. I was having flashbacks to that game, watching this game unfold. That's how bad that it was. Oklahoma State jumped out to that 6-0 lead there in the second, and I'm thinking, ruh-roh. And then Kansas State was able to get a big play. Avery Johnson hooks up with Jace Brown. But now there's a negative with that too, because Jace Brown is likely to be out for the remainder of the year, which is less than stellar. But I guess if you're a K-State fan, you already think the season's over anyways. Oklahoma State outgained Kansas State 373-284. 226 for the air for Oklahoma State compared to 177 for the Cats. On the ground, 147 for the Pokes, 107 for Kansas State. 23 first downs for Oklahoma State, 14 for the Wildcats. K-State was 4 of 15 on third downs, a perfect 2 for 2 on fourth downs, but 4 of 15. And then you also see special teams having a blunder too with a missed field goal. And I think when that moment happened, I thought, okay, that's when you know things are not going in your favor. Just offensively, it was woeful. Absolutely dreadful to watch that thing unfold the way that it did. Still can't get over what my eyes saw on Saturday. You're here thinking, all right, the Wildcats, they at least move closer to bowl eligibility. You're 5-5. You take on Utah in Salt Lake City on Saturday. And then next week, you take on Colorado. I still think K-State can be bowl eligible. But I think a lot of fans are still going to be disappointed no matter what. But that game on Saturday, that set football back a little ways. It was really wild to watch how everything unfolded on Saturday. And Chris Klieman said it today at his press conference saying Kansas State played not to lose instead of play to win. And I think that's really the best way to describe it. Just don't mess up too bad for Oklahoma State. That's what it felt like to me. But hey, Wildcat fans, we move one step closer to bowl eligibility. We'll see if they can get the job done. Coming up on Saturday against Utah. Do have some college football news, breaking news. James Franklin has found a new home. James Franklin has agreed to a contract with Virginia Tech. So there's some breaking news there for college football. Meanwhile, for Kansas basketball, the Jayhawks, they played Princeton. Princeton sometimes can be scary because of just what they are normally about, and that is they can shoot the three ball. And the way that game started, I thought they're going to set a record for three-point attempts because Princeton was firing away, just chucking them up left and right. Princeton, I think, going into that game was averaging like 31 three-point attempts per game. They got 35 off. They made 10 for 29%. From the field overall, 31%, 11 of 16 for the free throw line. Kansas led 37-29 at the break. Then the second half, able to pull away 39-28 in half number 2. Kansas gets the win 76-57. Flory Badunga has another monster game, really a challenge issued by Bill Self. He ends up scoring 25 points, pulls down 10 rebounds as well. 10 of 11 from the field, had 3 blocks. He was completely just a man amongst boys. And then Trey White, I thought, had himself a great game. Getting to the line 13 times, that's something that you're going to need to see from Trey White. If this team is not going to be this amazing three-point shooting team, you're going to need to find other ways to be creative in terms of scoring. And if Trey White can be that type of aggressive player, then that's exactly what Kansas is going to need to go with Darren Peterson. 18 points, 8 boards, getting to the line 13 times. Hey, I'll take that type of line from Trey White any day of the week because he's not going to be that three-point marksman. But he will have to be aggressive, and he was in that game. However, we look at another Kansas basketball game without Darren Peterson battling the hamstring. And Jack, I think I sent you the video of Bill Self talking after the game, and I don't even know if Darren Peterson's going to be ready to rock and roll for tomorrow against Duke because it sure doesn't feel that way. Bill Self said we're not obviously going to have him, at least for the immediate future. I just don't know how long that will be. I know Bill Self called the injury more of a day-to-day thing. In a video posted would have been a couple hours beforehand, but it seems like Darren Peterson is not going to be available for a monster game against Duke coming up tomorrow, and that is very, very concerning because we've seen this story play out before. You get a major player, a big-time player, all of a sudden they're banged up, and that changes the trajectory of the entire season. So Darren Peterson, not available. It would appear not available for tomorrow as well. Only time will tell. I know there are a lot of rumors being thrown out there as to why Darren Peterson isn't playing. We've gone down that rabbit hole before with Kansas basketball, with multiple players. But it would appear that things are not trending in the right direction there for Darren Peterson, which makes tomorrow's game very concerning, considering the type of team that Duke is. We just talked about Boozer pouring in 35 points as a freshman. They're going to be a handful tomorrow, and it is going to be a very tough game for Kansas to win without its top player in Darren Peterson. Jack, I know we talked K-State football and Kansas basketball for that matter. We had to combine the two because of the amount of text messages that we received in hour number 1. But Kansas basketball plays without Darren Peterson again. It was a win, but we aren't really focusing on the 25-point performance from Flory Badunga. It's more so, hey, what's the deal with Darren Peterson? And then for K-State fans, the Wildcats not too happy seeing a 14-6 win down in Stillwater. tough place to play for the Cats for a few years now. Got the win, but less than stellar from the offensive standpoint. So seemed like a not so great weekend when it comes to Kansas and Kansas State, despite the fact that they both got dubs this past weekend. Your main takeaway from Kansas and Kansas State this past weekend?
Well, for starters, with Kansas State, though it was an ugly game, there was tons of turnovers in it. Not really sure K-State's offense truly got going. And in fact, the one touchdown they had, I know, to go up 7-6, it was after I believe Oklahoma State had lined up in the neutral zone on the fourth down, in which they stuffed it. So got a second chance there, then had the touchdown to Jace Brown. And I don't know if any K-State fan would say, yeah, you feel good about that win. But the reality is that, both the schools we cover in college football, they're in the same boat of, does it really matter this late in the season? Like, if K-State was 8-2 right now, and you're trying to stay atop the Big 12 title race, well, your goal is, well, not only do we need to get to the Big 12 title game, we got to know that we're good enough to beat Texas Tech, who we know is going to be there. And if we got past them, we got to feel good about our team going into the college football playoffs. But with these teams at 5-5, I mean, if K-State steamrolled Oklahoma State, do we feel any differently about their season? Do we feel any differently about the final two? I'm not sure even if they steamrolled Oklahoma State, you feel good about their chances in Utah, but you still feel good about their chances against Colorado at home on Senior Day. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're a Kansas State fan saying, look, if they could only beat Oklahoma State by 8, I know Colorado's not very good, but they're better than Oklahoma State, and we're even more banged up now than we were, 2 to 3 weeks ago. But I will say this, the defense, I thought, did what they were supposed to do. They turned the ball over a lot, and if the offense was clicking, they would have won by 30. They would have won by 40. I mean, Oklahoma State just gifted the ball multiple times in the second half, and when they got into K-State territory, so whether that was a talent issue for Oklahoma State or overall play calling, I thought K-State did a really good job at having that bend, don't break, but then also going the extra mile and finding a way to get the ball back where you're not just, holding them to field goals all afternoon long. But that's kind of my takeaway from that game, is that when you're, 4-5, you really just need to find a way to win 2 more games. And no matter how they look, it's not really going to change your bowl, in my opinion, right? If they had 150-0 against Oklahoma State and they do what they're supposed to do against Colorado, is the bowl committee, if you will, going to look at that and say, well, we can't give them a good 6-6 bowl because they barely beat Oklahoma State or they blew Oklahoma State out of the water? No, they're going to say they won 6 games. We're going to put them where one of those 6-6 Big 12 teams goes. And if KU is able to win one of their final 2 against Iowa State or Utah, I'd imagine they'll do the same thing and say it's either the Armed Forces Bowl or the Liberty Bowl, and you can take that and move on from it. But for a lot of K-State fans, I think you can just enjoy that they're going into Salt Lake as a severe underdog. You got no pressure going into that one. None whatsoever. Utah's got all the pressure in the world. Go play free, go play easy. And I thought they looked a little bit tight against Oklahoma State because there was no atmosphere. It was 11 a.m. And it sounds weird, but everybody's expected to beat the tar out of them. Right. So when you aren't just effortlessly moving up and down the field, college players will get a little bit tight. It's like, man, now we're trying to do too much. Now we're trying to take the deep shot because people are looking on the scoreboard and it's 6-0. It's 3-0. It's a really close game. And I thought they just mostly looked tight more than anything. But when it was all said and done, I'm not sure they were really ever in danger of losing that game because Oklahoma State is just awful, awful, awful. They had good defense in that game, but offensively to have 5 turnovers, they should be very fortunate that they only lost by 8 points. And then as for KU with Darren Peterson, it's certainly concerning because I just don't feel that the coaching staff has been 100% transparent. It's been all over the place. And, Darren Peterson wants to play, but, we're not going to force him out there. And I do believe that sentiment. I do not get the vibe that he is holding out due to, NBA draft stock. Because as we talked about before, that will hurt his draft stock if he's just sitting out and not playing. There's plenty of talented freshmen out there, and he would just be slipping down the draft boards as talented as he is because they're going to go, man, I mean, he had a tight hamstring and he's not playing in these games. I mean, he understands that NBA teams are going to look at that and still say, we don't have much of a competitor there if he's not even going to play in his college games. And I don't get that sense at all. I feel he's a hyper-competitive guy, and it's killing him that he's not able to go out there and play. But as we've said before, and as Bill Self, stated, I mean, this team, he's not going to directly say they're not going anywhere without him, but he's kind of said without saying it, they're going to need him out there. And if, they go play Duke without him, they're not going to win the game. I mean, I'd be floored if they did, just because, there's not really a true score right now. Duke is ultra talented, but you have to factor in here, it's November 18th, tomorrow night. It's November 18th, and even if Darren Peterson plays and you win that basketball game, yeah, you're feeling great. But also keep in mind, next week, they're going to have to play 3 games in 3 days. So there's a couple different ways to evaluate it. Of at what point in the season do you go, all right, we need you to gut through this a little bit. And it's not going to be on November 18th. It's probably going to be closer to December if he's not already playing tomorrow. There's a chance, too. I'm still holding out the hope that, tomorrow night he says, hey, I'm good to go. I don't have any holdups. I'm not going to play hesitant. I'd probably, honestly put it like 60-40, 60 he's not playing, but still a 40% chance that he's out there. But they got to know that, the last thing you want to do in a game against Duke in November, he goes out there and forces the issue, then he gets hurt. Now you're not going to have him for the next, give or take 4 to 6 weeks. So if it cost you a game against Duke, yeah, it stinks because you're 2 really tough games you've played so far, you've lost. But the hope is that by December and January, he is completely 100% rolling into Big 12 play. We're not even having this discussion right now because as we know last year, I mean, that Duke team was miles and miles and miles better than KU, yet KU won that game. And it was a great game to watch. It was fun. It really didn't mean anything when it was all said and done. It's more so about bragging rights. And I feel that if Duke fans face KU tomorrow without Darren Peterson, there still would be that asterisk next to the game of, yeah, we did beat them, but they didn't even have their best player and their best pure scorer out there. And I would imagine that line tomorrow, if he is inactive, will be around 12 to 15 points in favor of Duke.
For sure. All right, there you go. A little recap of KU and K-State from this past weekend. We'll get to our Mount Rushmore Monday later on, but up next, we'll sit down and talk to the number 4 team. Well, talk to the coach who is in charge of the number 4 team in the country in Terry Harrison. That's coming your way next here on The Pulse.
This is The Pulse.
I got it from here.
On Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita.
And I'll be on standby, too, whenever we have the Kansas pace.
If you're craving a taco,
we'll just move it to the next break.
Stop by Taco Pronto. Family owned and operated for 55 years. Taco Pronto makes all their food in-house using the freshest ingredients at prices you can't beat. Drive through today and take advantage of Taco Pronto's daily specials, or grab a 12-pack of tacos for only $11.99. Taco Pronto, located at 8385 West 21st Street North, or order online at TacoProntoWichita.com.
Taco Pronto, old-fashioned service.
And we are all tied up in the bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded. Electric in here. Electric. It all comes down to this pitch. You throw the fastball here. But it looks like Brock is walking off the field and is leaving the stadium. What is going on here?
I'm getting word that he left to get a taco. When you need a taco, you need a taco. Introducing the new Cantina Crispy Melt Taco, only from Taco Bell. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works over time with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget's available in a concentrate or extreme reach hose-in. Purchase Wet and Forget in store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
School is back. Are you tech ready? Rivet Computers has everything you need. Laptops, custom desktops, fast repairs, and affordable accessories for kids of all ages. Visit us in West Wichita, East Wichita, or Derby. Our local team makes tech simple. No gimmicks, just great service and great prices. Start the school year smarter at Rivet Computers.
Monday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Week 11 concludes with a Monday night matchup as the Raiders host the Dallas Cowboys. This is Jerry Recco. Join Steve Berline and me for all the action as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys look to regain their winning form, but Max Crosby and the Raiders are hungry for a victory. It's the Dallas Cowboys and Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Wichita's home for the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Back here on the Pulse on Wichita Sports Leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. I'm Pat Strathman. The Friends Falcons completed the regular season with a perfect record, 11-0 after a 69-3 win at St. Mary in Leavenworth. The Falcons were able to get a Bissell Divisional Championship as well in the KCAC. And to talk more about that, we welcome in the head football coach of the Friends Falcons, Terry Harrison. Coach, you had to wrap things up on the road in Leavenworth. Me being the person that I am, thinking back to my days in 2016 when the Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes went up to Leavenworth, a chance to clinch the title, and then they lost that football game, and you wonder what could have been. Well, your team made sure that you weren't going to sleep on the St. Mary Spires. You guys came out with a 28-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. You were cruising all the way to the very, very end, 69-3 being the final score. Simply put, your team did not overlook the St. Mary Spires, and you got a big-time win. What'd you see in the regular season finale on Saturday?
Yeah, we were, tough challenge the last couple of weeks, when we had really played the meat of our schedule in the first three divisional games, to then have to, to show up, prepare like a championship team against two teams that have been struggling in Sterling, St. Mary. It's harder than it sounds, and it's kind of, especially when we're having to fight all the noise outside, when you start looking ahead to playoff games and playoff scenarios. So I was really proud of our guys for having a great week of prep. And you can just see it was so clear watching our guys play. They were totally tuned into that game. They were totally focused on St. Mary and had a great week of practice. So I wasn't surprised, but you're always worried. And sometimes, it doesn't feel it's not as exciting as you might think winning that game. It might be a little more of a sense of relief, but it's an awesome one. And then you get to look ahead to all this fun stuff now in the postseason.
You're so used to seeing long drives this year. What's it like seeing 2 plays, 66 yards, touchdown, 1 play, 80 yards, touchdown, 2 plays, 17 yards, touchdown, 2 plays, 81 yards, touchdown. Oh, and then you got 5 plays, 6 plays, 4 plays. But you look at the first couple of drives, 2 plays, 1 play, 2 plays, 2 plays. You're talking a combined 7 plays, and you guys were up 28-0. That's insane when you sit here and really look back at it, because I'm used to seeing, it's the typical Friends Falcon drive. You got 10-play drive, 12-play drive. Then you're find a way to punch it into the end zone. You guys were really explosive, especially in that first quarter. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. All those things happened in quarter number 1, might I add. Yeah. So what was clicking on Saturday with that offense?
Well, the challenge, we had challenged our guys that week. You're going to have to go in and put these guys flame out, because how it is, last game, senior day, all those fun things, and guys get excited to play. And so I thought our guys, did an excellent job of that. And it really was, I think against Sterling, I did a pretty poor job as a coach of we were almost trying to force stuff, and you want to give guys carries and you want to love the certain, and when you do that, you can cause some frustrations. And I felt like I did that a little bit against Sterling. And I promised the guys hey, I will not make that mistake again. I promise you, we're going to do what we need to do to win. And we're going to call the best possible play to give you an opportunity to succeed. And when we did that on top of our guys, we have really good players, obviously. So on top of that, I think that's when you get the outcome like that. And it was cool to see our guys go out there, take care of business. And then, even more than winning and all of that fun stuff, it provided an opportunity to play some other young men that have practiced hard and put all the same time and energy as the starters to let those guys play in that championship clinching win was really cool.
Yeah, and there in the second half, we'll talk about the guys that we're used to talking about. We'll circle back around. But in the second half, your scoring plays, Walker Overman, true freshman, 51 yards on the ground for a touchdown. True Bosher, freshman, 29-yard field goal. Elon Conley, freshman, 40-yard touchdown run. Joey Millspaw, freshman, 52-yard run. to be able to have those freshmen. I gush on them all the time. I keep telling people of, hey, I know it's easy to look out there and see Cavante Baker and see some guys that you've been so used to seeing for so many years now, but I keep telling everyone that the future is looking very, very bright. Well, there in the second half, those 4 times that you scored, all of them by freshmen.
Right.
Which says a lot about what's coming up here for Rennes University moving forward. How valuable is it for them to go out there and have that success here this year?
It's huge, and I think for us, that's the thing. I've been around the conference long enough, having played in it, and then having coached in the Wichita area so long, just being an outside observer of the conference, and then now coaching in it for 8 years or something like that. I've seen a bunch of teams that have kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit, and they have some wins, they have a championship year, and then they fall off pretty seriously, right? And we don't want to be a program that does that. We want to be a program of sustained success. And so when you do that, if you want that, I guess, is you have to allow guys opportunities like that and develop guys, and always have the end in mind, even when you're having a championship season and you want to play guys, you want guys to get stats and win awards, and that stuff comes from winning. But you also always have to be conscious of developing your program for the future, so that next year, when you lose guys and you graduate guys, it's not a brand new face with zero experience. And so that we have been intentional about that over the last couple of years here at Friends, so that there is no drop off when guys graduate. And we want our guys to graduate and move on to the community and have great jobs and all those things. And so if you're going to do that, you have to commit to developing teams, and we're proud to do that, I guess, is the point. And then and I'm very proud of those guys. All the names you mentioned there, make sure it'll make this offseason a lot of fun, and make me sleep easier at night knowing we have guys that have produced on Saturdays.
And those are just the ones to score. There are others that are very much impactful. Those are just 4 snapshots of what took place here in the second half on Saturday. Terry Harrison joining us in studio, Friends football coach here on the Pulse. The Falcons wrap up the regular season 11-0, first undefeated season since 2008 for the Friends Falcons, and now they get a chance to relax a little bit here for the NAIA playoffs. I texted you on Saturday after seeing the box score, and I said, wow, your quarterbacks, you had a combined 204 yards on the ground with your 2 quarterbacks, Cavante with 4 rushing touchdowns, 184 yards on the ground, Walker Overman, after just balling out against Sterling with a punt return for a touchdown. How many times you say that about a quarterback? But that's what you saw not too long ago. But Walker carried the ball for 120 yards and a touchdown. Safe to say, I bet the NAIA hasn't seen something like that in a long time, where you have not one but both of your quarterbacks rush for over 100 yards. But, man, what a day from your quarterbacks to see Cavante. We all know what Cavante can do, but we talked about Walker, just how special he can be. But how about the quarterbacks and both of them being able to combine for 204 yards and 5 touchdowns? That's pretty special.
Yeah, man, it's just a cool day. And it's kind of funny. We tell people all the time.
Oh, by the way, I misspoke, 304 yards. Yeah. I'm like, 204 doesn't seem right. That's the Seneca math.
That's
right
okay.
There,
yeah,
Coach.
We're not going to hold that against
304.
You. Yeah. Well, we tell everybody we never know who it's going to be. We never know who's going to get their opportunity. And this was kind of the week. It was like, they kind of gave us an opportunity to run with our quarterback. And, our guys, man, our slots have really had a great year this year, and our B-backs, they've done an awesome job. But, this week it was definitely quarterback's opportunity to get some big runs, and they definitely took advantage of that. And, when you have a dynamic quarterback like that, that's the name of the game, no matter what system you run. If your quarterbacks can put up numbers like that and be, a problem as far as like on other teams, it's just you're going to have a lot of success, right? And when you do that on top of the great defense we've been playing, we're a tough matchup for people.
Yeah, how about that defense? I don't want to leave them out of the equation. I know offensively you were able to rack up 683 yards, 642 on the ground. He averaged 15.3 yards per rush. Yeah, that dog will hunt, to say the least. But defensively, for the second time in the last 3 games, you guys were pitching a shutout, and then Kansas Wesleyan was able to get a touchdown late in the game. And this one, you give up a field goal to the St. Mary's Spires, so you don't get the 2 goose eggs that Coach Kemp probably wanted to see. But nonetheless, the defense was spectacular. I know on the ground, St. Mary was able to run for 118 yards, but they had 204 yards of total offense. But the defense, once again, just setting the tone, forcing 8 punts, really no issues whatsoever, that defense. So what stood out about the defense on Saturday?
Well, that is number one, is incredibly difficult to shut anyone out or hold people to 3 and all those field goals. And I think, in the game of college football day, to see that's awesome, especially against a team, St. Mary. I talked to Chance last week when you were gone, and I think they've scored 40 points 3 different times, 30 points. I mean, they've scored.
Sounds right.
Yeah, they've scored a lot of points this year.
Well, Eric Covington's been there for a while at quarterback. They have the wide receiver who is a game changer.
Yeah,
he's a great wide receiver. So I understand how that it's really tough to shut them out for sure.
Yeah, exactly right. And so that's the thing, right? And for our guys to go out, do that, and compete in the way they did, and play such great defense, man. It's been funny. We don't have a bunch of crazy stats on defense as far as individual stats because they've played so well. And it's a funny thing, when you start thinking about all conference awards and all these different things at the end of the season, when you look at your teams, like, well, they don't have to, because they force so many stops. I think they lead the country in points allowed per game. And so, man, just can't say enough about how great they played and the leaps they've made as a defensive group over the last couple of years, and Coach Kemp's leadership, Coach Murray's leadership, all the things that they do, man. It's really impressive. And again, like we always speak, it's just made us a really tough matchup every Saturday.
Yeah. Terry Harrison, head football coach of the Friends Falcons, here in studio. The Falcons are 11-0 after a win over the St. Mary Spires. Put up 69 points on Saturday, 69-3 being the final score. Coach, it's the first undefeated regular season since 2008. You guys have done a lot of things out there. I was reminded, you remember the last time that Friends went undefeated for the entire year? I was like, well, I mean, we can go back and look, but I can tell you the last time there was an undefeated regular season was in 2008. Then the Falcons lost in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure maybe that's just the reminder to the guys is, hey, guys, we accomplished something for the first time since 2008. Hey, bravo, pat yourselves on the back. This is great, but now it's time to get back to work. But what does it mean to be able to do something like this so early in your tenure here as the head football coach of Friends?
Yeah, it was fun. Those 2008 guys got inducted in the Hall of Fame last year, so we got to meet a bunch of them, and it was fun to hear their encouragement and their excitement for where our program is at, and just really wanting us to kind of get back to the spot they were at those times. And then they be able to win a playoff game last year was a huge stride for us, and then obviously compete on the road there against Grandview. So, man, it's so hard to win. I think it's a weird line to walk because we want our kids to enjoy it. Winning is hard, especially being undefeated hard at any level of college football. There's just so few teams that are in the position we're in, but you do want to remain hungry. And I think our guys have done a great job of, balancing that, because they are proud of that. They've been ready to play every game. We really haven't. We've had a couple drives we've had to make to win games, but not necessarily been in crazy competitive games because they've taken care of business so well. But then always, looking ahead, and I think you can see that in our guys' eyes, and that's why it's such an honor to coach them, because you can see, we may not win this whole thing, but we certainly could, and it won't be because of a lack of focus or effort or belief in our guys. And I think that's really all you can ask for as a coach.
Well, now what's it like? Here you are after completing the regular season. Now what's it like this week? What do you do this week? Yeah, I know you treat it like a bye week, but you can't, because you don't really know who's going to be the opponent when you come back out. So I think it's a more of a unique situation than what you probably would really have to realize on the surface. So everyone probably just looks at it and just thinks, oh, yeah, that's easy. It's like, well, no, because you want to stay sharp and you want to be prepared for any situation. But with the way that the NAIA playoff system is, all you can do is basically put some teams on a dartboard and throw a dart and be like, oh, that's the opponent that we're going to get in the next round.
Right. Well, we hope we'll be somewhere in the top 4. We could be outside of that. We could probably be anywhere between 2 and 6, at least, as the best guess I could make as far as Vegas odds. So there's a couple scenarios there. If you're in the top 4, you're going to play somebody coming off a game, and the winners of the first round, it really affect who that could be. So you can't necessarily predict it. If you're outside the top 4, you're most likely going to play someone else on a bye, and there's all the geographical stuff you can do. But ultimately, I think the cool part is it allows us to have, we played a 6-game stretch and won them all with a bye week. Then we played a 5-game stretch, won them all with a bye week. And then if we can put together another 4-game stretch, you're sitting at the end with a national championship. And so that's kind of the challenge and the goal, is to be as good as you can be over the next 4 weeks. And so what we'll do is kind of look at ourselves, see what we're bad at, readdress some things. We'll have an awesome special teams focus, which will be really cool. And then even more importantly, let our guys get healthy. And so I think, the playoffs are seeded for a reason. And if you are able to be in that top 4, top 5, or top 6, that is a huge advantage, especially if you have a bye week coming off some bye with a game. So it'll be fun to see where we end up. And my guess is, we'll be somewhere in that 3 to 6 range. And really, if we're in the top 4, that's at least the ideal scenario. And then we'll get to find out who we're going to play.
Don't mind me over here. I'm just trying to do some quick math in terms of, you have 633 points forced this year, Coach, which is a school record. Shocking. I know you probably didn't realize it's a school record, but it is very much a school record. 119 points given up. Now, of course, we go back to the old school days, but back in 2006, that Falcon team only gave up 86 total points in a year, which is
that's crazy.
That's insane when you think about it. So, sorry, Coach Kemp, no school record when it comes to that. But unfortunately, defense is at a huge disadvantage because football has been played for so long that there are seasons where you probably only gave up a total of 20 points.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the way it is.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
I'm just reflecting back on what we've seen so far. And of course, we can reflect on some things next week as well. We can reflect on the all-conference stuff, which I'm sure there will be some good news when it comes to that. At least I hope there's going to be good news when it comes to that. But I have a pretty good feeling when you go undefeated, 11-0 in a regular season, you're probably going to be you'll probably be having some awards to say the least. But, I mean, you already got the trophy. I mean, you and Coach Kelly just in the office just snapping pictures and whatnot. So it's been a lot of fun seeing you guys. And I'm sure as a coaching staff, hopefully you have a chance to just kind of relax a little bit after what you've accomplished so far.
Yeah, probably not. We'll try to. We're not. That's not in our strong suit for sure. But I'll tell you, it's been fun. We've got a bunch of texts from people like 74 rushing touchdowns is insane. I think I know we did. We just, I watched a documentary this offseason. It was about Oklahoma in 1971 rushing for 471 yards a game. And Barry Switzer was saying no one will ever break that. And so we were honored to break that record. So the all-time rushing yards per game average, we were right at 481 or something like 41.9 per game. And so to set if you're listening to this and you have a college football team that you ever thought could run the ball, we've done it better. And that's cool and awesome. And our kids, when we kind of realized that, it was like, hey, challenge accepted, Barry Switzer, and so I always hated the Cowboys anyway. So let's go break that record. And we, like I said, we were honored to do that. So if you know Barry Switzer, let him know. It's all respect, but we were happy to break their record there at OU in 1971.
All right, Coach. Well, enjoy yourself. Congrats on all the success, and looking forward to see what happens here.
We have Kansas Pace coming up here in about
head football coach of the French Falcons here on the Pulse. 69-3, the final score on Saturday, wrapping up the regular season. The Falcons finished the season undefeated for the first time since 2008. The Falcons take a perfect 11-0 record into the NAIA playoffs, and now we will wait and see what happens for the French Falcons here for this year. Can't wait, though, because playoff football, nothing better than that, and nothing better than being a team that has performed at the level that the Friends has performed at so far here in the year. Looking forward to seeing what happens here in the postseason here for 2025. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will wrap it up with our usual Mount Rushmore Monday, brought to you by Red Axe Shredding. That's next on The Pulse.
You're tuned into The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
What's up, Wichita? Let me tell you about this chaotic world that we live in. I'm sure you're juggling all sorts of stuff. Are you juggling work, family, and the needs of your aging parents? Kansas Pace can provide the help you've been looking for. You'll have peace of mind knowing your parent is receiving expert, compassionate care while living at home. Pace provides all the medical care your parent needs with their doctors, nurses, and specialists and therapists who specialize in older adults. Pace takes care of all the paperwork and arranges all the appointments. Pace does all the driving too. You don't have to take off from work. Pace provides in-home care as well. Kansas Pace takes some of the weight off your back that comes with taking care of aging parents. They become your trusted partner in caretaking. Plus, they have an activity center packed with activities your parent will actually look forward to visiting. The medical clinic is right there, attached to the activity center, so everything is in one place. If you need help taking care of an aging parent, it will be worth your while to check out Kansas Pace. It could just make your life and your parents' life much easier. Learn how they can help your family today at kansaspace.org. That's kansaspace.org.
Are you struggling to take care of your aging parents? Kansas Pace gives you the help you've been looking for. They provide head-to-toe medical transportation, home support, and an activity center your parents will love. You can relax knowing they're in good hands while you handle your own responsibilities. For men juggling work, family, and caregiving, Kansas Pace offers peace of mind and real relief. See everything they offer at kansaspace.org.
When storms hit, you need more than just a roofer. You need the biggest and most reliable name in the Midwest, Shamrock Roofing. Shamrock Roofing has grown into the largest roofing company in the region, with local crews right here to serve you. For nearly 50 years, we've proven our strength, our size, and our promise to you to be here for every repair and roof replacement. And every roof is backed by our lifetime craftsmanship warranty. One call does it all. Visit shamrockroofer.com.
Guys, low energy, stubborn belly fat, or a drop-in drive aren't just getting older. They're signs your hormones may be out of balance. Dan Pharmacy's hormone replacement therapy is built with men in mind, helping restore strength, focus, and muscle tone and confidence. Our team delivers precise, personalized treatment so you can perform at your peak, at work, in the gym, and everywhere else. Stop settling. Visit danpharmacy.com today and see how Dan Pharmacy helps men take back control.
Hey, AK, it's me, TK.
What's up, TK? It's me, AK, Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. Travis, if you could tell people how to support your charity, what would you say?
Grab my 87 and running concrete at Andy's.
87 and Running is such a wonderful charity that we created a special treat just for the cause. It has the world's finest vanilla frozen custard, Oreos, cookie dough, caramel, and the best part, a portion of the proceeds from every one sold helps 87 and Running.
It's a cool way to support our vulnerable youth in Kansas City and beyond.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Obviously, it's going to be tough to get back in the division race, but at the end of the day, all the goal is to get into the playoffs and try to make a run at it. And we got to learn from this one as much as possible, knowing that we're going to get a great opponent coming into Arrowhead this next week. Kind of at that point where we got to find a way just to win football games and kind of keep moving forward. That's what this league's all about.
Wichita's home for Chiefs coverage. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
All right, we need a hustle. Time now for our Mount Rushmore Monday, brought to you by Red Axe Shredding. Kind of an important time of year for your business. I'm sure you're getting ready to get rid of some paper. From paper to hard drives, they securely destroy it all. From home offices to large businesses, Red Axe offers secure on-site and off-site shredding you can trust. Fast, affordable, and 100% confidential. Call Red Axe Shredding today at 316-869-2215 or visit redaxe.co. Trust the pros. Shred with Red Axe. Jack, what's the topic for the day?
Let's go Mount Rushmore Monday for Thanksgiving activities.
Thanksgiving activities. Can I say sleep being a number one on the list?
Absolutely.
I got to say, a Thanksgiving nap. There is something special about a Thanksgiving nap. I feel like I've averaged a nap every Thanksgiving. So go ahead and make that my number one choice. By the way, if you agree with the list, let us know on the text line at 316-247-0923 or tell us to axe the list. Or you can interact. Give us your Mount Rushmore as well. Jack, what's your number one?
I've made it pretty obvious before. It's definitely watching planes, trains, and automobiles.
I might have to change my routine and watch that at some point this Thanksgiving. Number two, it goes hand in hand with the whole napping thing, because I want to stay up and watch some football, but if I take a nap and I miss a football game, no big deal. That might be the challenge for this year. But yeah, give me watching football. You got to watch football on Thanksgiving Day.
Instead of football for me, I just love Feast Week. I love basketball over football on Thanksgiving, so that'll be my number two.
Yeah, and that was going to be my number three. watch Feast Week, watch some basketball. That is something that I also enjoy. You can watch both of them. I've done that before when I don't take a nap. There's always something going on there on that Thanksgiving day, both for football and for basketball, and I'm glad that that's the case. So, yeah, give me Feast Week as well.
I'll say putting up some early Christmas decorations if anybody does that on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad one. Usually I try to get to the decorations either the weekend or the week after. I try to get to it as fast as possible, so that's not bad at all. And then lastly, you just eat, just overeat on Thanksgiving Day. That's what Thanksgiving is all about, right? You just overeat, and that's what I'm going to choose for my last one.
And since I didn't have it earlier, obviously got to watch some football in there at some point. In between the basketball games, I'll just say sitting on the couch and watching football.
Just had someone chime in, partaking in adult beverages. Yeah, that's probably a good one too, isn't it? I have so much food on Thanksgiving that I don't have the space for adult beverages, believe it or not. And I'm also trying to lose a little bit of weight. So I will try to stay away from that this year. But I like where your head's at there, Texter. All right, that does it for us. Mount Rushmore Monday. Appreciate our friends at Red Axe Shredding for sponsoring Mount Rushmore Monday. Coming up tomorrow, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com, Taylor Eldridge with the Wichita Eagle. It should be a great show. Until then, have a good night, Wichita. For producer Jack Johnson, I'm Pat Strathman saying so long, Wichita. We'll be back at it again tomorrow at 2. Come join us.
You're all clear?